day away until we'll be out at Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship, as they'll have their Pro-Am tomorrow. A lot of guys will be out there practicing, getting ready for the opening round on Thursday. And then, as we know, Thursday, everything gets kicked off bright and early, and we'll have 4 rounds of great golf. We also got to talk some college football, some NFL, a lot of injury news in the National Football League right now on ESPN. They're doing the breaking news as they go into NFL Live of J.J. McCarthy will have to have knee surgery for a torn meniscus. Definitely what you don't want to hear for a rookie quarterback. So we'll talk a lot of NFL, some baseball, a lot to get into over these next 3 hours. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, Brian. It is hamstring pull season in the NFL, and bumps and bruises, and it comes with the territory. I watched almost all that Vikings game. Don't remember a play. Was it from that game or since that game?
It was that game. He came off after the game and said, my knee's a little sore, my leg's a little sore, and they said, okay, we'll get you an MRI. I believe he had the MRI Monday, so last night, and then they got the results and said, hey, man, you're going to be out.
That turns it into a redshirt year for him.
It definitely does.
What is the process for meniscus? I know that's the least worst type of knee injury.
Yeah.
1st of November at the earliest?
Yeah, so I think
mid-October?
I think it's being reported like somewhere between 4 to 9 to 12 weeks that he could be out. I think 4 is just hoping and praying everything goes perfect, and he could be back. I don't see a way where he's back in 4 weeks, but I would say probably closer to the 6 to 9 weeks, which gets you
be really safe.
Oh yeah,
redshirt year
certainly, and even 6 weeks gets you into October. So, I just, and it was already going to be a question of if he was going to start the season, if he was going to, what he was going to do. They signed Sam Darnold in the offseason, and they like what Sam Darnold has done this offseason. So, yeah, I think it's going to be hey, look, and that's one thing, and we talked about J.J. McCarthy earlier yesterday when we were talking about those games, and it just feels like J.J. McCarthy is the type of guy, could be completely wrong, but he just seems like the type of guy that even though he's going to be injured, even though whatever's happening, he's going to be in those offices every
First
day.
In the building.
He's going to be watching film. He's going to be with that coaching staff. He's going to be learning. And so, while it's not a good thing to happen to him.
That was his college head coach.
Exactly. And so I think he's going to be constantly learning, and I think this might not be the worst thing ever because I think he's going to learn a lot. I think he's going to be a much better football mind
division
when he comes to this. Exactly. He's going to –
I've said it with Bo a couple times. If I could be on a beat this year in the NFL, give me both Norths.
Definitely. Definitely.
Give me AFC North and NFC.
Absolutely. So, that was definitely the big news today, and you definitely don't want to see that.
I really like him. I like how he stood tough during all the pressure at Michigan when they couldn't beat Ohio State,
Sure.
and then when they started beating them, then when he suffered the tough loss to TCU.
Sure.
They played 100 times.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love that.
They would beat – Michigan would have won
That's right.
99 of them,
That's
but they don't. They played that day, and TCU got them and got them pretty good. And then he came back last year during all that pressure and the focus on everything away from the field.
Yeah.
I thought he handled it well with his teammates and with his tough head coach. I love Jim Harbaugh. You know that. You can tell – anybody can tell that with my words about him. I like a tough guy, and between his dad, Bo Schembechler, and Mike Ditka, he was coached really tough.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I think the thing I liked the most that maybe I didn't realize until very recently of all of the talk of, well, J.J. McCarthy, he's a system quarterback, yada, yada, yada. And then he gets to the Vikings, and you're seeing all of these clips of him throwing long balls and him making great passes.
He looked good Saturday.
You saw Saturday making some big-time throws, and it's almost more of this is a guy that has shown, if coach comes and says, hey, man, look, we've got a great running back. We got a great offensive line. We're going to be more of a run team, and we know his head coach in college was a run-first head coach.
Wants to run with the Chargers.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we're going to do. sorry, he's going to say, okay, if that's what I got to do to win a national championship, I'll gladly hand the ball off 100 times a game. And that's what they did, and they won. He won a national championship. But I think, he's a guy that's going to be all in, and so, you hate to see it, but I think he's going to learn a lot in this time off. And if this is the redshirt season that I think we think it will be next year, I'm really excited to see him day one as that starting quarterback.
Are you ready for the Emirates NBA Cup?
Oh, Brett, how could you not be? I mean,
formerly known as the in-season tournament?
Correct, yes. Only a very short stint.
I almost feel like we need to take the lights down lower and kind of get our voice more almost funeral home-esque when we talk about the in-season tournament. And the honor and the glory of the high water mark for the Lakers last year for Darian's Lakers.
Yeah, hung a banner.
Hung a banner. Had a parade.
That's right. A little bit of everything.
Rings.
Got some rings.
Yeah.
They had IST rings.
Just a little bit of shirts that said IST champions. I mean,
anybody else around the league. I saw a good tweet last night. Somebody said, "Oh, so I see IST or NBA Cup schedules out. Now that only matters if the Lakers win it, right?"
That's right. Yes. It's a
little bit like some of the SEC teams at bowl time. They get beat, but we didn't care.
Exactly. Oh, no. Who cares about this bowl, X bowl, right?
Noah Lyles.
Oh, yeah.
When he wins bronze, he's sick. When he wins gold,
that's right.
Are you still sick?
Exactly. Yes.
Man was wheelchair bound.
Immediately after.
Sure was.
Then he was shaking it up at a club in Paris.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Well,
The vid, man.
COVID,
it comes and goes.
It's a gnarly thing. It sure does.
I was at a place yesterday. I won't name the business.
Okay.
And it's everybody's. It's your own personal business. If you want to wear a hazmat suit, that's cool. Young lady, I don't know her personal medical background or history. I have no idea, and I hope it's good. But she had on a mask. Fine, that's her business.
Sure.
But while I was waiting in line, she would move the mask down over the chin, and would continue working and talking. And I wanted to go, over the chin is really doing nothing.
Yeah. I mean, at this point.
But it's none of my business. I'm not going to say a word.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I've not seen that move.
Over the chin.
In a while. Oh,
the Ron Hunter move. Remember at Tulane?
That
year when it was a lot of emphasis on it.
Oh, yeah.
If covering the chin up, Ron Hunter's never going to get it.
Ron Hunter was the king of just having his mask over his chin. It was great. No, but yeah, so, it's a lot going on right now in the world of sports. How about the White Sox last night? I mean, where'd that come from?
The upset of the year in American sports?
100%.
Can one single out of 162 in baseball be that?
FanDuel was elated yesterday. All the betting sites were elated.
Chaminade beating Ralph Sampson.
Oh, absolutely.
Can it be?
I think so. I mean, talk about the New York Yankees.
Here we go. Okay. I want this at the text line. At the Cincy's Log Cabin text line, 901-360-8255. Bigger upset.
Oh, jeez.
300 favorite Yankees. Mm-hmm. You're only getting plus 240 if you bet the White Sox.
Only.
White Sox win 12-2.
Yeah, how about that?
What's the bigger upset? That or Oakland beating Kentucky in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
I would say White Sox only because of how porous they have been and how hot the Yankees had been.
They had lost 24 out of 25. Yes. And Cal was telling us, wait till March.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I'm going to go with the White Sox, but it's close.
Oakland's close.
Oakland's really close.
Oakland Grizzlies.
Yes, correct.
Might confuse people.
Yeah, baseball and college talk.
And losing teams, you might just throw Oakland in
there.
If they made it back-to-back tonight, does it diminish last night?
I don't think so. I think the only thing that would have diminished last night is if it was like a 3-2 win. The fact that it was 12-2 is what
over the Bombers.
Yeah,
that will be around.
Oh man,
minimum ALDS Final 8.
Minimum, yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Also, doesn't it reek of new leadership in the clubhouse, new confidence?
Grady Sizemore effect. Grady Sizemore's had an effect.
Yeah, certainly not a good look on the old guy.
He's been around all year for the.
He has, yeah.
He's been part of the coaching staff.
Only one man out, I guess. Tonight though, I think. Wonder what the line is on that game.
300, same as last night.
Oh, really? Same as last night?
300,
Wow.
getting 240.
Wow, interesting. Nestor Cortez going tonight for the Yankees. Jonathan Cannon going for the White Sox. Don't like Jonathan Cannon.
White Sox trying to get to 41 wins to get one over the hapless 62 Mets that went 40 and 120. Great joke goes they didn't play 162, but they'd have lost those two.
It's crazy. Win tonight, they'd get to 30 wins on the season. How about that? The big 3-0, Brett.
Got a chance, don't you?
I don't know. I don't think
30 wins if they win tonight.
That's insane.
And us spoiled rotten Cardinal fans.
That's right.
And we are spoiled
We're
rotten.
sitting here mad about 60 wins.
It's only half.
You're right about that.
Lose tonight, 60 and 60.
It's crazy. Crazy. Last night wasn't fun either, but hey, that's okay.
It was awful.
It was really bad. It was really bad.
Sonny Gray's been mixed bag since
He definitely has.
1st of July.
First half was great. I mean, first half of the year was
legitimate.
fantastic.
Number one starter.
Since then,
And on the road.
oh yeah, no, you're right about
The road
that.
woes.
Has not been very good at all on the road. But
Thank God it's football season.
oh man,
And golf season.
and golf.
And I was at
season.
Southwind today.
Yes, you were. How was that?
Looking great. It's ready.
Yeah,
They're ready.
excited. We're all gonna be out there tomorrow.
We will be.
Thursday, Friday. I saw pictures. We got our table set up and everything.
Good
so
spot. Great
at
spot.
the hub. Make sure you come by and say hello to us all week as we'll be out there. And no, I'm really excited.
I watched Victor Hovland
Oh,
for
there you
a extended stretch on the practice tee. Mm-hmm. And I would think,
dialed in.
yeah, but I would think he would label this year disappointing.
Oh, for sure.
He didn't say that. But
yeah, but I think if you had him speaking truthfully on his
I thought
year,
it might be a year he got a major.
definitely. I mean, especially after what he did last year and really towards the end of the year, came on strong. And so I think a lot of people, I definitely thought that this year could be a big year for him and just, hadn't been able to get anything out of it. But at the same time, when you have Scotty Scheffler out there, hard to do a ton of winning, and then you got Xander coming up, late in the year at the majors, and makes it tough when you got those two guys.
In the old days, the Century Tournament of Champions to begin the year out at Kapalua would be just winners. They've expanded that a little bit because they got a little low.
Oh wow!
Between somebody like Scotty gobbling up all the wins.
Sure.
And Tiger used to do that.
Of
Tiger or
course.
Phil, they would gobble up a lot of wins. They wouldn't go.
Holy cow!
One year they got out there and no cut and just winners. They got down to a field of about 28.
Whoa!
Well, there's not a lot of value.
Whoa!
It's not a lot of value for the corporate sponsors
No,
and
not at all.
things like that. So they got a little bit in a pinch. And now with losing some to live, they sure can't win a tournament. They expanded that to a little bit to include guys around in the wraparound and in the World and the FedEx Cup standings. So now it's a legit field of around 45.
Wow!
But Scotty ate up a lot of spots this year.
Did. No, absolutely. I mean, the year that he has had, especially the beginning of it, I mean, it felt like he couldn't lose at all. And so, he'll be, I know a lot of people excited to see him and obviously Xander. And, there's going to be a big crowd around that group Thursday when they tee off.
Back to the NBA Cup.
Yes.
Help me with so announced today, Grizzlies at Warriors on November 15th. That is a Friday night.
Okay. Yep.
The Friday night of Thanksgiving weekend, or the Friday afternoon of Thanksgiving weekend, Friday afternoon, November 29th, the Grizzlies play at home against the Pelicans in a 4 o'clock start time. Did you see 4 p.m. Central?
Yeah.
That's nose up against the Egg Bowl. NBA TV for Grizzlies Pelicans.
I don't like that.
ESPN for Egg Bowl.
I don't like that. Yeah.
Friday afternoon.
We were chatting when it came out, Brett, and you said 4 p.m. on a Friday, and I was like, "Oh man, I like the sound of that." And then you
has
said
a March Madness feel to it.
It does,
like the Olympics did.
Absolutely. I mean, especially for us,
And then I realized the day.
Yeah. So I don't love that.
But and that is a busy week. I say it every year. Maybe my favorite week of sports.
Definitely.
There's something on college basketball, NBA, college football, NFL, every waking moment.
Absolutely.
From Monday afternoon in Maui. Tigers in Maui that week.
Yep. Tigers playing Tulane that week on Thanksgiving night.
Good old feast week.
Yeah, that's right.
Feast week.
Exactly. And like you
know
said,
what I call it, Darren?
What you got?
Eating season.
There you go. I love that. But no, I mean, you talk about that week, and yes, there's sports on at all times. And it's meaningful stuff. I mean, you've got all of those tournaments with college basketball. You've got it's rivalry week in college football.
Other than March
NFL,
Madness,
Thanksgiving.
November and December, my favorite college basketball months.
Absolutely.
With all the intersectional matchups.
Yeah, definitely.
You get those big hitter matchups that you don't get again.
Yep.
And I like league play.
Yeah.
But it can get to be a grind fest.
Oh, for sure.
10th of February until the brackets come out.
Oh, for sure. You're absolutely right. So that week's going to be massive. So yeah, so the Grizzlies, they'll start off like you said at Golden State on November 15th. That's a Friday. That game will be on ESPN. Tuesday, November 19th, at home against the Nuggets. That will be at 7 p.m. our time. Friday, November 29th, like you mentioned, versus New Orleans, 4 p.m. our time on NBA TV, and then they'll wrap up their group stage Tuesday, December 3rd, on the road against the Dallas Mavericks. That will be a 7:30 local start.
Zany, West Group C.
That's right, West Group C, group play, and then I don't know exactly. I gotta go back to the rules of.
I need to eyeball the bracket.
Yeah, I'm not sure on top team. I guess just top team from each
quarterfinals
group,
Tuesday, December 10th, and Wednesday the 11th.
Love that.
At the higher seeded team. Okay. Winners of those games advance to semis in Vegas.
Absolutely.
On Saturday, December 14th. Championship game. Boy, nothing more stirring in sports than the NBA Cup by the Emirates on December 17th.
I can't wait. I mean, I'm already fired up for it.
I'm cracking on it. I enjoyed it last year. I should have cracked on it.
It was good stuff. I'm curious, are we going to get the courts again this year?
Oh, I forgot about the zany courts.
Yeah.
Wasn't a huge fan.
It should have been a staple.
Courts.
I think you'll get them.
We'll see.
It was moving, wasn't it, Darian?
Oh, yeah. I think
as a Laker fan, where's it rank for you?
Oh, man, it's got to be up there.
Number 191?
Yeah.
Or number one.
No, nowhere close. Nowhere close.
The inaugural, first ever. No.
But I think it was meant to be just to have LeBron's name on it.
There you go.
LeBron was the first
yes.
one, so it adds to his
all joking aside, don't doubt Adam Silver.
No, he knows what he's doing.
I think so. That's what I mean. Yeah, in all honesty.
He definitely knows what he's doing. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Colin Cody from News Channel 3. He's their weekend sports anchor and reporter. He'll join us to talk about this week here in Memphis with the FedEx St. Jude Championship. We've also got to talk a little bit of football with him as, honestly, Brett, when we're done at Southwind, we'll be kicking off for college football. So
Black Ankle State.
That's right. So I'm excited about that. We'll talk some college football with Colin Cody, what he expects the Tigers to do this year on the gridiron. 3:45, we'll talk some NFL. 4 o'clock, Drew Darmon joins us from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. Talk some college football with us. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. And we got to talk more about the White Sox last night and their historic win over the Yankees. Some of the other scores and notes from the games last night. A really good night of Major League Baseball, even though it was a little bit of a smaller slate. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us to talk the NFL and I believe
final rankings,
coaches and quarterbacks for my division, the NFC Beast.
America's team division.
That's right, yes.
The last one. How did that 8 weeks go by like that?
It's hard to believe it was even. Are you sure it was 8 weeks? I mean, what are we?
8 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say it feels like 2 weeks. So we'll get to that with Bo at 5 o'clock and a ton NFL wise to talk about with Bo. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together, and head out to Family Leisure for the world's biggest spa sale going on right now. Save thousands on in-stock hot tubs ready for delivery. Spa starting at $28.99. Cold plunges starting at $39.99. Swim spas starting at $17,499. And special financing, it is available. Huge discounts on all in-stock above-ground pools, too. All patio furniture, it's also priced to move. So get over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Bryant and Brett, we're Sports Time, produced by Darian Newsom. We're with you until 6 o'clock, and we want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. One-stop shopping for sure there, and all our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. This hour every day brings you the 3 to 4 o'clock hour. It's brought to you by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673. But better yet, stop by and see them at the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. And you'll be driving in style, driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's finally here. The schedule is out for the NBA Cup. No, I'm kidding. That can't be my top story of the day. It is this week, though, and it is the FedEx St. Jude Championship out at Southwind tomorrow. As we've mentioned before, the Pro-Am will take place. A lot of guys will get out there and play some practice rounds leading up to Thursday morning. I'm so excited to get out there, not only to watch some golf. It's always fun every single year to get out there and watch the best of the best, the professionals on the tour make their stop here in Memphis, but also with the storylines going on this year on the PGA Tour, there will be so much to watch. You've got Scotty Scheffler in the year he's had, Xander Schauffele in the year he's had. They'll be in a group together. A lot of people will be following them, but you've got other guys. You've got, as I've mentioned time and time again, this group of young up-and-comers of Ludwig and Akshay Bhatia and Sahith Theegala and Tom Kim is still, I would say, in that group of young guys that I think in a couple of years could be the face of the game. Nick Dunlap, another really good one.
He can move it.
Yeah, I really enjoy watching him play. So it's going to be a lot to watch, and as always, it always feels like we get a great tournament, something that comes down to the wire Sunday. All eyes will be glued to Memphis and the ending of this first round of the playoffs. So I'm so excited to get out there and to watch this golf, and it'll be here before we know it. Tomorrow, Pro-Am, and then we'll get everything kicked off on Thursday.
Yeah, tomorrow will end the funsies, and then we start play for keeps on Thursday, but it is a great week of the year. My top story, AP Top 25, out yesterday. And I expect very little movement from that first release really through the end of the year. It happened last year. Last year was the year of no super upsets. Yeah. It was pretty copy and paste, pretty static. I'm thinking the same thing happens this year. It could be a little movement. The season won't have a lot of movement, though. Ohio State, they go to Oregon October 12th. Somebody's going to lose there, so it'll be a little jostling. Georgia's going undefeated, so they're going to stay where they are. They play Texas. Bama plays Georgia. But none of these losses will drop anybody, just way off the radar. We're not going to have a lot of drama in the poll world until the end of the year and playoff time.
Yeah, no, it feels like that group up top is going to stay.
We've eliminated. We have a playoff in college football.
Yeah.
It's called the regular season. That's out now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day has got to be the injuries, and most notably the injury to rookie quarterback J.J. McCarthy. I think there was a lot of excitement in Minnesota when they made the pick for J.J. McCarthy, but I heard a lot of can this guy really do it in the NFL? Is that the right pick? But I think seeing clips from him this offseason, seeing what he did over the weekend in the first preseason game, I think there was real excitement and real hype for him. But now we know a meniscus injury that he'll need knee surgery, and it's still unclear on how much time he will actually miss. I've heard 4 weeks. I've heard as many as 12 weeks. I've heard 6 weeks. I've heard 9 weeks. I've heard everything, and it was just announced a couple of hours ago that he would even need the surgery. So nobody really knows how long he will be out or what this means for the Vikings. But I think the good thing, I guess if you want to consider it this, is there was kind of a quarterback competition already going on. It was not clear who would be the starting quarterback. So now you know you have your starter, and we'll see what they can do without this young quarterback. I said it earlier, and it's always hard to bring things like this up or talk about this when it comes to an injury. This might not be the worst thing to happen to J.J. McCarthy. Of course, I never want injuries. I never want a guy to have to miss time because of a surgery. But when you talk about a young player, a young, especially quarterback position, him being in there every day, learning, eating up what those coaches are telling him, and trying to get that mental side of the National Football League down before he even has to step foot. We always talk about coaches putting guys in too early, and it ruins them, and all of that. If he has to sit for 12 weeks, a whole year, coming in next year,
get a football match.
Exactly, and so I know it's bad news, but I do think that something great is going to come out of this for J.J. McCarthy.
My not top story, it's to Los Angeles and Shohei Ohtani. He's been worth every cent.
Absolutely.
The Dodgers paid him. Hit his 36th home run last night, and he's leading off. Imagine game planning down in the warming up, knowing you face him either in the top of the first or the bottom of the first. He's no pitching for Shohei, but lots of hitting, batting average 298, 36 home runs, 85 RBI, and maybe the quietest 33 stolen bases ever. They don't really need him doing that. I bet they would like for him to stop.
Probably.
And the Dodgers had to have all this from him. 4-game lead right now over Arizona and San Diego, but it's still going to be tough for the Dodgers when they get to the postseason because they get everybody's best pitch. We see it year in and year out in the postseason. That is in the West, especially for those Western teams like Arizona last year, San Diego. That's the one that they're judged by, is beating the Lakers, the Dodgers.
You're right, and so it'll be fun. It's been so much fun watching him play. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this Dodgers team. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, Colin Cody from News Channel 3, he'll join us, talk about the FedEx St. Jude Championship and a little bit of college football. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to give back to communities across the state. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. They're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers and tournament participants as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about how Blue Cross Blue Shield helps communities, please visit bcbst.com.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant, objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis, now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
Right now Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1, and literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Inside only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme value on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA diamond ring.
This month has been incredible. People have driven 4 hours to buy like a dealer buys. All GIA certified diamond rings are on sale. A full 20% discount off Genesis' amazing everyday value price.
Talking values you never thought possible. 5-carat to 20-carat diamonds. All excellent values on all new items. Prestigious geometric.
Don't be surprised to see jewelry 4 hours at diamond dealers shopping alongside you.
Genesis has the largest jewelry diamond selection you've ever seen. Precision cuts, pear-shaped, emerald cuts.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, and Landers Ford North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right. Over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Landers Ford in Collierville, Landers Ford South in South Haven, or Landers Ford North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
When you were young, all you wanted in the summer was an ice cream truck to roll by. Now, you just can't wait for the Harbor Freight parking lot sale to roll around. And it'll be here this weekend. Maybe you're looking to fill up that tool chest. Maybe you're looking for a tool chest to fill up. You'll save money either way. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until August 18th, 2024. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Red Star Sports Movie and Brian Gates.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now, Colin Cody from Channel 3, the weekend anchor and sports reporter over at Channel 3. He joins us now to talk about the big week here in Memphis. Colin, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start off with this weekend at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. I know everyone's excited to get out there. What do you expect to see starting tomorrow and into the weekend out at Southwind?
Hey, guys. First off, just want to say thanks again for having me on. I'm currently still out here at TPC Southwind, and it is Memphis again. You can just tell the weather is totally drastic from how it's been like the last 8 days. So I see a lot of guys in shorts out here, a lot of the top players in the world already practicing on the putting green and playing a few practice rounds and taking a few, practice swings as well. But, yeah, I think, we saw how great last year was with Lucas Glover and what he was able to do. And that story within itself where he won the Wyndham to get in, then he won here, then, he made that just basically changed the trajectory of his career at this late stage of his career. But obviously we had some drama that ensued on Sunday when we had Aaron Rai come through, and he came back from winning after who was it? I forget what his name is. Max Graveman, where he kind of just fell apart, had the eagle on 14 or 13, and instantly just started to tank and missed out on his first PGA Tour win. So we have some drama that's probably going to happen here in Memphis that I'm expecting. I expect a great week of competition. And also, I've looked at the pair sheet for Thursday, Friday. It's playoff atmosphere. We got the number 1 and number 2 players, everybody lined up going against each other starting day one. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun atmosphere. Just can't wait to get some fans out here, too.
And, Colin, you're right. There's so many big names, including – sounds the same, but spelled differently. Colin Morikawa, a player to keep an eye on. Yep. I don't know how he hadn't won this year. He's always in the mix. But then you got the big guns. You got Xander. You got Scotty Scheffler. And since we've gone to this event, even the World Golf Classic, we always produce a big name winner. Do you see anybody kind of back of the pack emerging?
That's an interesting one because, going into this, I was obviously looking into, what happened last year at the Wyndham Championship. So when Aaron Rai, who's a guy that's been on the tour for so long and almost 30 years old, and finally gets one in 88 starts, that's a guy that I would like to dial in on. I think he jumped 20-plus points in the FedEx Cup standings. So you look at a guy like that who's hungry, still out here trying to prove himself, but also kind of middle of the pack. I like this guy a lot. Ash Kadia, he's a kid that I followed since he was junior.
Yep.
I saw what's that? Right outside of Augusta, South Carolina. He won that tournament. And this kid, I know he turned pro pretty early, but he's one of those names that's going to be around for a very, very long time. He's really good, and I think he could really do something this week. This is a course set up for a ball striker like him, and if he's hitting putts, he could be in contention come Sunday. Or Tom Kim. I love what Tom has done. I hate how he fell apart a few weeks ago when Scotty came back and got that win over him. But yeah, a lot of young guys here that have a lot of talent, and I'm expecting some big things from them this weekend.
Yeah, I love both those guys. And like you mentioned, young guys, and we're starting to kind of see that new crop of young guys on the PGA Tour, and they really look like they can be some players for a long time. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Brett.
And Colin, in every sport, everybody knows the Cornbread Maxwell sermonette. Father Time always wins.
Always wins. And, I think that's what the PGA Tour has kind of been holding its breath on the last some of the top guys going to live and not being in these elevated events anymore. But now we're seeing, okay, it was a lot of guys waiting for their turn, and that they've been tearing it up on tour. Just not a lot of notice and recognition, but, they're hungry just as much as anyone else. I mean, when we saw Scotty before he won that first green jacket, he was always in the mix, and he was just this young kid coming out of Texas. And now look what he's done in the last 24 months. I mean, he's the most polarizing golfer in the world at this point. So, we got a lot of things happening here, and I think a lot of guys like Victor Hovland, someone that played well here last year, finished tied for 13th at 10 under. He's another guy who hadn't played well this season, but this is a course he just said during his post-pre-round interview that this is a course that he loves, one of his favorite courses all season to play on. So when you got guys excited to come to Memphis and can bear this heat, this weather, these conditions, that's just going to make the tournament that much greater.
You mentioned those two top guys, Scotty Scheffler and Xander Schauffele. It's been really, really fun to watch both of those guys play this season. What have you made of what those two guys have done? It felt like we had that argument for a while. You had Scotty and what he had done earlier in the season, just winning. It felt like every tournament he was a part of, he got the win. And then you got Xander, who at one point this year we were talking about best player on tour to not win a major. And what does he do? He goes out and wins 2 majors. Now you got Scotty just coming off a gold medal in Paris. What have you made of those two guys and what they've done this year?
It's great for golf, just in general. The PGA Tour, I can only say this so much, like just how much it means to have these guys kind of represent the tour and our country as well. Like you said, Scotty with the wins this season and going to gold medal after shooting a 62 out there in Paris. I mean, a bogey-free round, guys,
crazy,
just unstoppable. But Xander, a guy who was well overdue for not just a major, just a win. He comes through and he's tore it up when it counted this season. And I just think it's great for the game of golf. I think it's way too early to say, hey, we got our next Tiger and Phil Mickelson pairing because, Rory's still in the mix too. And like I said, there's a lot of young guys that have a lot of potential. Colin Morikawa, who's number 4 in the world right now. He's itching to get a tournament win or another major victory. So, yeah, I love what the two have done this season, and I think that these playoffs are set up for 2 of the best ball strikers to go toe-to-toe for the next several weeks. I'm not sure how it's going to play out this week because not necessarily do they need to win here or next week, but when they get to Eastlake, I mean, I just want to know how close can Xander probably inch closer towards Scotty because he's so far ahead of everyone. But it's just going to make a great PGA Tour playoff championship when it comes to end in Eastlake.
Our guest is Colin Cody from News Channel 3. You see him on the weekends anchoring, and you see him all the time as one of the reporters, part of that great team there with Mike Sadie and the hardest working man in Memphis sports, Jeff Woods. And this week, it'll be a grind for Woodsy, but he's ready for it. And
yeah, he's got a frown on his face already.
He does. Colin's on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Colin, tell our listeners what they can see from the great team at Channel 3, the CBS affiliate here, all week in y'all's coverage of the tournament.
Well, I really appreciate it, Brett. Yes, we're going to be here on the ground each and every day, just highlighting this beautiful course. For one, the edition over at 14, where they have I forget what the exact name of it, but it's like a new party on the bluff type of atmosphere.
It's going to get crazy.
It's going to get crazy. So that's going to be one of those places that we highlight. I know the national broadcast is going to highlight it for sure, but we're just going to bring this more local. Obviously, with the St. Jude, what that means to the city, and in just a few moments, we'll have Colin Morikawa. He's going to go and have a putt-off with a young patient, not a putt-off, but, kind of show him the ropes and just be hands-on. We really love to see these guys in the community and the ones that really love to spend their time with people in need. So, yeah, here at Channel 3, we're really just all about bringing the Mid-South, the best from TPC Southwind all week with some of the top-name golfers in the world who are simply just enjoying spending their time here in Memphis.
Absolutely. And Colin, it's going to be a lot of golf this weekend, but there's also going to be a lot of people coming up to you, I'm sure, asking you about the Tigers this year for on the football field.
We used to get a lot of football talk in June. I mean, when we leave the golf tournament Sunday night,
it's going to be here.
It's put the ball on the tee time.
It absolutely
is. The football on the tee.
Yeah. What do you think about these Tigers, Colin? Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm excited. Just going through this fall camp and everything with these guys the last few weeks, talking to Coach Silverfield and a lot of these top-name guys that transferred in. I think, Memphis knows the pressures that is around them in this season and how that door is kicked wide open this season. We don't know how long it's going to be open. So I think they are fully expecting to take control of that spot for
Colin, you broke up on us just a little bit. Okay, thanks. You're back.
Yeah, I think that they just want to put all the chips in on this table this season, not knowing how long their window is going to be open. and the available. And a lot of these top guys that I've spoken to this season, Kobe Minor, defensive back that came from Indiana, he's excited. I think this is what the game of NIL has changed so big about college football. Now, especially with Memphis having all the eyes around them and being the team to come out of the group of 5, a lot of these guys, they're like, look, I've seen college football played in the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, whatever. The Tigers, they have all the facilities that these big-name schools do, and they also level up to the competition as well. So, they're all bought in to the fact that, hey, we can really go out and make a run for this thing. And not only that, if we put all of our personal accolades aside, the ultimate goal is to put Memphis on the map.
One goal.
And we all win at the end of the day.
One goal.
That's what I've taken from every interaction that I've had with a current or new face on the team, that they all believe in one, and they're going to buy in, really, try to take care of business this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. I know a lot of people are excited to get out there and see some Tiger football. But, Colin, thanks so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you this weekend out at Southwind. Yes, please hydrate. It's going to be hot out there. Oh, yeah, I'm already started. I look forward to seeing you guys out here. You guys do a fantastic job every day during this hour that you guys put on and talking about every big event here in Memphis. So I just really want to say thank you guys for calling on us at Channel 3, calling on me to, give a little spotlight, a different perspective, and it means the world, and you guys keep crushing it.
Very kind,
Appreciate it, Colin.
And same to you. Thank you, my friend. We'll see you out there.
See you soon.
You got it.
Thanks, Colin. Colin Cody joining us. You know him from Channel 3, the weekend sports anchor and sports reporter joining us.
They work so hard at it.
Oh, man, so hard. And it's always fun seeing them out there. Oh, yeah. And it's going to be hot out there.
And everybody gets, yesterday afternoon I said to Joe Tomek gets us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it didn't take him long to get here, to you almost hear almost that sermonette.
Mm-hmm.
And it's from the heart. And everybody, I know all of us, all the stations, TV, radio, everybody, print, we know what this weekend means. We get one shot at it every year.
Absolutely. And so it's finally here, and it's going to be a lot of fun being out there all weekend long. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, a lot of NFL news coming out throughout the day today. So we'll talk about some of the news that have come out. J.J. McCarthy, he's going to miss some time with an injury. Some other news out there. So when we come back, we're talking the NFL. That's next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Wash your house, wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 901-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
Located corner of Park and Cherry is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit. Credit for deciding while stuck in traffic to get a bachelor's degree. credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. Students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. Get your application fee waived through August 29th. Flexible online and hybrid classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 95 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stack, Sportsworthy, and Brian Davis.
We're back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We've got to talk the NFL. A lot of news out there in the world of the NFL, but we just got done talking with Colin Cody from News Channel 3 about the FedEx St. Jude Championship. He said he was still out there. We know all the fun really starts tomorrow with the Pro-Am, and we're going to give away some tickets if you want to get out there to the Pro-Am tomorrow on Wednesday. Give us a call at the Sissy's Log Cabin guest and listener line, 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. We will take the first caller to call into the Sissy's Log Cabin. That easy. Get on the phone, 901-360-8255.
How many tickets, Brian? Is it a pair?
Pair of tickets for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Pro-Am will be a lot of fun. We talked to Joe Tomek the other day. He was telling us how much he loves the Pro-Am and getting out there, kind of seeing those guys a little bit more relaxed before all of the action really starts on Thursday. But back to the NFL. A lot of news out there. We've got the injuries. We've talked already a lot about J.J. McCarthy. Now Sam Darnold, definitely his job out there. We've got some other injuries. It looks like Malik Neighbors will be fine for Week 1 after his injury over the weekend.
Week 1's all that matters.
Oh, yeah. Who cares if you're playing any more preseason games?
Shut it down.
Just be out there Week 1. And there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to shut it down. We saw 2 teams that shut down joint practices because of all the injuries. 49ers, I can't remember who the other team was. He said, we're not doing joint practices this week because of all the injuries.
See you Week 1.
Yeah, we'll see you when it matters. But, Brett, and we talked a little bit about this during the break, Cowboys first franchise, this is the headline on ESPN right now, Cowboys first franchise to surpass $10 billion valuation. I mean, that is incredible.
Now, I don't know if that means he could get it in an open market.
Right. Certainly not, I don't think.
But it wouldn't be far off of it.
No.
And he's not selling.
No, he's definitely not selling. That's not on. That's not even on
children and grandchildren.
No, I mean, that idea is not even on the table next to the table. Maybe even next to the table.
He has said in a lot of forums he wants a Rooney, Hunt type legacy. Sure. The Mares and the Tishes that own the Giants. He wants that for his family. He wants the Jones family in some shape, form, or fashion to own it in 100 years.
Yeah.
$140 million. He bought it from Bum Bright, who bought it from Tex Murchison years before that. What a deal.
I mean, what a deal. You got that right. But I mean,
talking about return on investment.
That's a great return on investment. Nobody has ever questioned.
But that $10
him as a
billion,
salesman.
Bryant, you know what it won't buy?
What's that?
One more Lombardi.
Well,
trophy.
and that
Does
is,
he care though, Britt?
I
Yes.
think so.
Especially at this age.
It
The
feels
early years, it came so easy with that formidable duo of Jerry Jones running the team and Jimmy Johnson, Jerry Jones in the front office and Jimmy Johnson and Larry Lacewell picking the team.
Well, and Brett, it feels like, to me at least, and this could just be fandom talking, it feels like he's getting a little more tight around everything as kind of he gets older, and that chase for another Lombardi just feels like he's a little more tight with everything in terms of how he kind of goes about things.
I think they've missed the window.
I think they have too, which I hate. I hate to say.
It's not going to be with a lot of the current players.
Right.
If they win the next time they win one.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it is. I hope it's this season. But I mean, it's almost like the same conversation you have with the Grizzlies over the years of, this team's good, but look at this conference they're in. Look at the West. It's almost like, look at the NFC. You got the 49ers. You got the Eagles in your own division.
The Cowboys haven't been bad.
No, they haven't been bad. But
it's not enough.
They just haven't been good enough. And they haven't gotten to that
by
great level.
Today's standards or by their standards.
Yeah. No, I don't think at all. And
now,
so,
they may never have the big three of Aikman, Emmett, Michael Irvin ever walk through. It's not Valley Ranch anymore, the Star, whatever the address is, ever again.
Yeah.
And they kind of keep longing for that and thought they had it.
Dak, Zeke, and CD.
They thought
and
they
Prescott.
had it. They sure did. They thought they had it.
Sure did.
And that offensive line, when it was young, and Dak's contract was very, very manageable.
Best in the NFL.
And now everybody needs a new contract, and
everybody can't be paid.
And I don't know. No, certainly not paid what they want to be paid. That's for sure. And
I don't blame CeeDee Lamb. It's not his problem that everybody else is wanting cash too.
No,
where's mine?
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
When you're a receiver of that caliber that CeeDee has shown,
if he cuts left and the knee keeps going, nobody's going to worry about him.
Exactly, he'll be.
Wise man told me it's the general manager's job to make the cap work.
Exactly,
not the players.
Not the players or his agent.
That's a great
too bad.
point. Yeah. I mean, everybody wants to be paid.
Ultimate team sport, but those guys do, and they should be, and I would be. They have to be selfish.
You're absolutely right, and so we're seeing that, and that's fine. I'm just hoping it gets worked out soon, and I'm sure it will. I'm really not super worried about it. I think before week 1, they'll have at least everything for this season squared away, and that really means getting something for CeeDee Lamb. I think the rest will be kind of longer down the road getting that stuff figured out. But we do need to wrap up this first hour and get to a break, and when we come back, we're talking a whole lot of college football. Drew Darman joins us from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. We'll talk to him next on Sports Time.
Someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa set.
you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
The best golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwood throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwood and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Also sponsored by Sis's Log Cabin, First National Bank, Ronnie Grisani's, Banyan Tree Realtors, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, and South Haven Supply.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway and Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli, it's wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. An easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ and WG538 Memphis, broadcasting stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And joining us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Drew Darman from 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville. Drew, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to in the world of college football, but I got to start off talking about Alabama football. A much different offseason with Nick Saban announcing his retirement, Kalen DeBoer being hired as the new head coach for Alabama. What has this offseason been like, and this fall, since practice has started, been like under Kalen DeBoer?
Well, I mean, it's gone about as well as you could hope when you have the best head football coach, in my opinion, in college history retire. I mean, transitions are never easy. I mean, it wasn't easy under Coach Bryant. Of course, that was in my very young days when I was around 7 years old, so I wasn't as aware of what was going on. But certainly, being around people that have no Alabama football, it was not easy. And Coach was not in good health at that time. But this has been much different. There was a little bit of misalignment with Alabama back in those days as far as from the school president on down. It wasn't as smooth as it has been now. You know, they've got Stuart Bell. They've got as good an AD as there is in the business, and Greg Byrne. And it's not easy to navigate the landscape, but he's had Alabama as prepared as he could. The search was a 48-hour one, and they hired a guy that's 104-12. In his tenure as head coach, coming off of a national championship game appearance, and so his searches are all about timing. He had a long extension on his desk at UW and decided not to sign it. Alabama was able to go out and hire him as head football coach. And, of course, there were still bumps. Ryan Grubb ended up not being on staff. Coach Huff, the offensive line coach, decided to stay and go to the Seahawks, and I couldn't blame either one of those guys. Both ended up in Seattle, staying where their families had been entrenched the last several years, especially in Coach Huff's part. And so I think, I thought it was a really good the way Kalen DeBoer pivoted, and what he did. He hired Coach Cap, Coach Chris Capellic from Michigan State, and he's put together the number one ranked offensive line class in the country, which is tremendous. Jamarcus Shepard, he was able to bring him from Seattle, and ironically, he might have still ended up in Tuscaloosa coaching for Nick Saban. I think he's as good a young wide receivers coach as there is in the country. And then Nick Sheridan, who was coaching the tight ends but had extensive playing experience at quarterback and coaching experience and play calling, expertise, was bumped up to OC. So I think when you take it all in, the staff he put together is very, very strong. And then, there's been some headlines out there in the world of college football, including a story put together by a guy, Tyler Dunn, who I'm very familiar with in the NFL, about Will Anderson and his struggles as a junior at Alabama. And I think a lot of that had to do with coaching. And what you see is coaching matters. And I think even as great as Nick Saban is, his last few years in Tuscaloosa, he had trouble putting together as good a staff as he was accustomed to. It's one of the reasons why he moved on and decided to go to our side of the headset. But the beautiful thing is, I think Alabama hired a guy, Kalen DeBoer, who's on the cutting edge and who's brought in a stronger staff. And then that's where you see coaching matters, and it actually enhances the greatness of Nick Saban, because I thought, he went out on top, so to speak. I thought he probably did his best coaching job a year ago and his best coaching the last few years to keep that Alabama program amongst the heavyweight champions of the world as far as Ali Frazier kind of thing, because Alabama continued to make the playoffs, contend for national titles, and nearly won one in 21 and nearly played for it last year when probably he didn't have a good enough coaching staff around him. So I just think overall he cemented his legacy, and now Alabama's moved on to Kalen DeBoer, who I think is as good a young football coach as there is in the country. And now the Tide is, still considered a top 5 team. Well, they're going to get a chance to prove it out on the field, and I think they have better personnel than people understand. And I know it sounds funny because they're still number 5 in the preseason, but again, a lot of it is, Nick Saban set such a high standard, it's going to be tough to live up to. But I think Kalen DeBoer is one of the more capable football coaches in the country, and I'm actually really excited to see this new brand and version of Alabama football and see if he can continue to take the baton from the greatest of all time.
We are too, Drew, and you laid it out great. And even without his fastball, Nick Saban could still go out champion of the SEC. But I think now we have to recognize, Drew, doesn't the SEC now go through the old lieutenant at Alabama, Kirby Smart at Georgia?
Well, I mean, it has to right now. I mean, he had a 29-game winning streak. Nick Saban is the only thing standing between him and a very likely three-peat in back-to-back undefeated seasons. Kirby's done a remarkable job. He's the one guy that came from the Saban tree that's been able to transition and become an elite head football coach. And he's certainly done that. He's certainly taken this Georgia program. As predicted, they're going to be preseason SEC favorite, preseason number 1, and they've got a great football team. And it's pretty remarkable what they lost, because they lost as good a tight end as I've ever had a chance to cover in the SEC and Brock Bowers.
And the Raiders are going to love him.
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt. And then one of the more underrated young men in Ladd McConkey, who, was hurt a lot last year, but made plays his entire career, was a late signee, almost the Georgia version of Justin Jefferson, from LSU, who I know that was another late signee for the Bayou Bengals, so we all know how good he became. But McConkey was very good. Even Jack Saint had a really good year last year in his senior year at wide receiver. And then they lost some key offensive linemen, and yet they've recruited at a level where they're just reloading like Nick Saban did, and that's what they're expected to do. Now, the one thing that will change for Kirby, and this is going to be the fascinating thing to watch, is Nick Saban for 16 of those 17 years, because year one was a rebuilding year. Everyone understands that. Alabama was the standard and the target. They were everybody's Super Bowl. Everybody got their best effort and their best shot. Georgia's going to be that now. I want to see if Kirby can handle that, on a week-to-week basis. He's done an outstanding job since basically having a similar year one that Nick Saban had at Alabama, he had at Georgia. Don't forget they lost to Vanderbilt his first year, and Ole Miss put a thumping on him. But he learned and quickly got it going in that right direction. But now it's a little different when you continue to elevate yourself until you are, on the throne. And right now Georgia's on the throne, in my opinion. They've got to stay at the top and king of the mountain, and they'll have a lot of teams gunning for them.
It's golf tournament week here in Memphis, and Georgia's become Tiger Woods, and you don't know if it's Phil Mickelson or one of the name brands or Wei Yang coming out of nowhere to knock you off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Ole Miss has got a great roster. I mean, Lane's done a great job of acquiring talent. His schedule is it's still difficult. It's in the SEC, but it can be navigated if they come together and they can find a running back sort of by committee situation. They've done a good job in the portal, kind of continuing to strengthen themselves at just about all the skill position spots, and they have some coaching staff continuity, and they have a quarterback. It's always key to have an experienced quarterback. They've got Jackson Dart, who's played a lot of football since coming over from USC, and so Ole Miss is ready to pounce and be really good and make a run at it. I think LSU, to me, is the most underrated team, just simply because I like their quarterback, and I think Brian Kelly does a good job building offensive lines, which is kind of going to define LSU this year. Now, they've got to plug in some guys offensively, but I think defensively, first of all, they can't be any worse. But I think, second of all, the way they responded, they went to get Bo Davis, who's as good as there is at what he does. Just ask Texas, because he actually helped Texas become a tough physical team along the defensive line last year. He's going to have a chance to help improve that D-line at LSU. And then you've got Baker, who's who's an experienced DC. He did a really good job for Elijah Drinkwitz at Missouri. And I just like the move they made, getting Corey Raymond back. I thought that was a mistake that Brian Kelly made when he got to the Bayou. You couldn't let Corey Raymond leave. Well, he remedied that and got him back. So my top five in the SEC are it's still much of the same with Georgia and Alabama, but I really like Texas still. Sark's done a nice job there. Their talent's good. I like Ole Miss. I like their talent. Lane Kiffin's had 2 double-digit win seasons. But LSU, to me, I think they're sneaking around. I think they've got a chance to be pretty good and be the thorn in the side of some people. And I got them finishing 5th right now in the preseason.
I like that. You already mentioned Texas. They're one of the teams joining the SEC this year. The other being Oklahoma. What do you expect to see from OU in year one of the SEC?
Well, guys, in my era, Bryant, there were these books called Choose Your Own Adventure.
Yeah.
And you could choose, you would come to a fork in the road and you choose a path, and you might end up the king of the mountain, or you might end up falling down and perishing down a waterfall if you chose the other side. Well, I think in week 5 for Auburn and Oklahoma, I think that is a choose your own adventure game. I think both of them have a chance to be undefeated at that point in time. So the way I look at it, Auburn and Hugh Freeze, and it'll be at Jordan-Hare because Auburn's first 5 games are on the Plains. The winner of that game, Auburn and Oklahoma, I think, will be in the race for the SEC championship game the rest of the season. And then the loser very likely will be, probably in the Outback Bowl, Citrus Bowl, and they will be a good football team, but they're not going to be a college football playoff contender because of the way the schedules will unfold as the season goes on. But I think in that situation, I think that Oklahoma-Auburn game is going to decide it. And I've had a hard time deciding how good OU was going to be. I believe I picked them 7th. I picked Auburn 9th. I think Auburn's going to be better, but I do question, Auburn, how much better they're going to be on the D-line. I think they believe they're deeper, but do they have an alpha dog guy there yet? And then, much like Alabama, Auburn has questions in the secondary, except I think Alabama's talent in the secondary is a little bit better than Auburn's. We'll see. Auburn's got Keontae Scott trying to transition from nickel to corner. Let's see if he can do that. But, again, I just think overall when you look at it, I think Auburn's going to be better on offense. They'll be younger, but they're going to have more talent on the outside offensively. And then with OU, I'm just interested to see how they will react in the SEC because and Texas as well. But right now, I think Texas has more talent on their roster, even though I know they beat the Longhorns last year. But it's going to be fascinating to me because the SEC is not the Big 12. You can't come out flat and win 2 or 3 games. It's going to be a really difficult, I think, just a meat grinder. And these 2 new teams, Texas and OU, and even Texas did it last year some, where they were able to survive. Can't really do that in the SEC. You've got to be on an even keel. You got to be able to be prepared mentally for the grind, and you don't know until you go through it. And so I think Texas is more well-equipped right now, of course, but I do think I am fascinated to see how big that loss of Bo Davis is going to be to Sark and the Longhorns.
How many SEC playoff teams do you have, Drew?
I have 4. I think Ole Miss will be the 4th. I know you and I spoke in Dallas, and you've also come on our show on 97.7 Zone, and we agreed that I think the floor for the Rebels with that roster should be the playoff. Do I think they have an opportunity to get to Atlanta and see a path there? Yes, I do. But I think regardless, the Rebels should get the double-digit wins or have a very good chance to do so. And in doing that, if you're 10-2 and you're in the SEC and you play the schedule that the Rebels will play, I think you should be in the playoffs.
Even with getting nicked up in Atlanta, if you're 10-2 going into it and you lose in Atlanta, you still think that's somewhere in the bracket?
Well, I think so. Now, you'll have to really, be a little nervous if you end up coming out of there 9-3.
See, I think there are some teams that don't want to go to Atlanta because of that. I've had enough of the meat grinders. See you on campus in a few weeks.
I don't disagree. In Notre Dame, they kind of have the golden ticket. If they beat Texas A&M in Bryan College Station,
they're
early,
the 5 seed.
Yeah, they're the 5. They'll host, and so they don't have to worry about a conference championship game. So that's going to be interesting. But I also think there could be a logjam of 10-2 and 11-1 teams in the SEC, and if there is, they'll get at least 4 in because I do think it's by far the strongest league. It's stronger than the Big Ten. The Big Ten, has a lot of big TV markets, but that doesn't block and tackle anybody. So I still think the SEC should get 4. But if you are a 9 or a 10-2 football team, and I should have rectified that, and you come out 10-3, not 9-3, pardon me. If you come out 10-3, you're going to be very nervous. I still think you'll have a very compelling case to get in, and you should get in over any group of 5. But we know how the playoffs been set up. In many cases, it hasn't been set up to reward that. But I do think the SEC deserves 4. Just look at if your preseason rankings are accurate, they've got 4 in the top 6. So I do think that they have a very good chance with a 12-team playoff of getting 4. And my 4 would be Georgia, Alabama, Texas, and the Rebels.
Talking to Drew Darman. He joins us from 97.7 down in Huntsville to talk some college football. Last year, the story of the SEC, or one of the bigger stories of the SEC, was the season that Missouri had. This year, they bring back a lot of those offensive weapons. They lose Cody Schrader, and I'm kind of seeing a lot of people kind of split on what to think about this team. There are some people that think they could be a team that's in that mix late in the season for a playoff spot at the top of the SEC. There are other people that think, last year was great, but it's going to be hard to match that again this season. Where do you sit with this Missouri team?
Well, they're very interesting because I think they have another advantageous schedule for them in the SEC, if you can call it that. It being in the conference is very difficult. But I think, once again, they have in Cook, they have a quarterback who's underrated, who fought for his job last year, won it over a since-departed Sam Horn, and became a really good quarterback under Elijah Drinkwitz. You brought up Schrader, who is now gone. He came out of nowhere to lead the SEC in rushing. But if you look at their rushing numbers since Elijah got to the league, Coach Drink, they've had a really good running game no matter who was there. So They've gone into the portal to attack that, and I think they feel good about the two guys they've got there in the backfield that they've added. And I think they believe that their defense, that's where I question it. Because, again, when you have the success Missouri had a year ago, and you beat Ohio State, and you win double-digit games, they lost some key staffers, including Blake Baker, who went back to Louisiana and to LSU to be DC. So they've had a DC change as well. But they like their talent. They're taking full advantage of NIL and with that aggressive law in the state of Missouri. They've kept some guys home that are big-time talent. And I think overall, when you look at their personnel, especially offensively and in the wide receiver room, I think they've got one of probably the top 3 or 4 wide receiver groups, in the conference. And I think overall, I've got them finishing 8th. But as I told Brett in Dallas, Bryant, if you look at 5 through 10, it's just a jumble. I mean, it could go anywhere as far as any of those teams could come out of nowhere and make the college football playoff. I don't think there's any question about that. That was probably my hardest thing because 5 through 10, I had LSU 5, Tennessee 6, Oklahoma 7, as I've mentioned earlier, Missouri 8, Auburn 9, and Texas A&M 10. And by the way, guys, I've got to get this dig in here. A&M, I know they're always supposed to be on the come and always supposed to be great. And, of course, we know Jimbo Fisher, a.k.a. Dirtneck, couldn't get him anywhere. Now he's on the Ponderosa riding horses. But I still say his best teams were when Mike Elko was a part of that staff. I think it was an underrated hire that wasn't sexy. I think he's a really good football coach. I think they're going to beat Notre Dame that first game, and I think A&M is going to be dangerous too. So
and you better be pulling for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Elko's a heck of a coach. I thought he did a great job at Duke, and that's going to be so fascinating to watch him locking horns with Riley Leonard, his former quarterback, who's now at Notre Dame, who was a great athlete in my state at Fairhope High School, was a late bloomer, one heck of a basketball player too, by the way, just a great athlete, probably a more talented version of Jake Coker, and that's no shot at Jake. I'm just comparing both guys.
That's a good comp.
From an athleticism standpoint, because Jake was also a great basketball player.
Is that right? I never knew that.
Athlete. Yes, he was, absolutely. And I saw him play in the North-South All-Star game over in Huntsville when we had the All-Star Sports Week before it went back to Montgomery.
Brian, Drew is one of those rare Alabamians that discovered basketball before Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates hit Alabama.
That's rare.
That's true. So and I'll just say this. Riley Leonard was a good enough athlete. I've seen him do a 360 dunk. So he's I mean, and if he had not gotten hurt at Duke last year as a redshirt sophomore, a lot of NFL scouts, if you talk to Jim Nagy at the Senior Bowl, they thought he had a chance to be a first-round draft or second-round draft choice if he had stayed healthy and put up the kind of numbers he did as a redshirt freshman at Duke. So no question he's talented, but I like A&M to win that game at home in College Station. And I just think when you look, again, to go back to my point from 5 through 10, any of those teams could make a big jump and a big move, and Missouri is certainly one that's laying in the weeds. It's still got a lot of talented football players, and I could see Coach Drink, making a run to the college football playoff for that 4th spot out of the SEC. And I've already told some Gator friends of mine, I love Billy Napier as a person. Got to know him when he was in Tuscaloosa a little bit, was around him. A great guy, but he's got to win at Florida this year. If he does not, I know Lane Kiffin's name has come up in Gainesville. That wouldn't be where I would pivot. I would pivot to Coach Drink. If you look at his recruiting, and this is pre-NIL before it really got cranked up at Mizzou, he's been in the top 20 in the country ever since he got to Missouri, since his first year there. And he beat Alabama on a DB his first year there, Ennis Rakestraw, who became an NFL player. He knows how to recruit, and that's the thing. Right now at Florida, Billy seems to be trying to solve that riddle, but that's been a tough one to solve since Urban Meyer left town. And so I think Coach Drink will be in high demand if Missouri makes the playoff or makes a run to have a shot at it with the 2 straight back-to-back big-time seasons in Columbia.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. That's a good one. Well, Drew, this has been a ton of fun catching up with you as always. Thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. It's an honor to be on with you. Thank you for having me, Brian, and of course, love Brett Norsworthy. Thank you, sir.
Drew. Thank you, Drew. Look forward to visiting with you again soon, and we will. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Drew Darman with us from down in Huntsville, the Rocket City, and that was good stuff.
That was really good stuff.
Eli Drink to Gainesville. I really hadn't thought of that.
I hadn't either, but that would get people talking.
And
for
you
sure.
notice I didn't get around to picking on Hugh Freeze, saying he should have beat Nick Saban 4 times.
I
didn't do it. It was too easy.
You're getting better. I actually saw one of my.
I saw 2 of the wins.
Well,
I know he's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Freeze really thought Ole Miss should have won 3 years in a row in that game.
Mm-hmm.
In 2014, I will go to my last breath on this earth saying for that day, Ole Miss was better.
Sure.
The 23-17 game in Oxford. In 2015, for most of the night, I thought Ole Miss was better. They talk about the turnovers. Those were plays made.
Right.
We had a guy cut a guy in half on a kickoff return that caused the fumble. That wasn't just a guy that just out of the clear blue sky dropped it.
Right.
One of the interceptions, it wasn't Coker, it was maybe Bateman. Anyway, was a hit, and the ball fluttered, and Denzel Kimdiche, I think, got the interception. Those were plays made. They almost came back and won. Then the wild game with Jalen Hurts in Oxford was win.
Oh, yeah.
And Coach Freeze is talking about last year's Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
That's the 4th one.
That's right.
But you didn't.
No.
I mean, Auburn, you can't have it. You can't talk kick six, kick six,
Yep.
and then, hey, y'all were lucky we should have won.
Oh, yeah. No.
Because when you talk the Auburn voodoo,
right.
well, maybe after Bryce Young in overtime in 21 and 4th and 31 in 2023, maybe the voodoo's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe a little less voodoo out there. No, you're.
But we all want it
right.
one-sided, don't we?
Of course, you with fandom, Brett, you got to make it fit your narrative as a fan. So good for them, I guess.
I bet you Freeze is already regretting saying that.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it.
Because it should have.
It's just.
I should have been 6'2" and born with a $300 million trust fund.
I would have loved that.
Yeah,
it would have made my life a whole lot easier.
Shouldas.
Sure, yeah. I mean, shoulda anything, but yeah, no. I definitely think he regrets that. I actually saw one of my buddies that is an Auburn fan today, and I said, "How you liking Hugh Freeze down there?" And yeah. We'll see.
And a strong take on that OU Auburn game.
Yeah, really strong.
I don't want to be the SEC guy. Oh, wait till you get in SEC. Texas and Oklahoma have been around plenty of blocks. They played big boy football for a long, long time. But I am ready for them to walk into that atmosphere at Jordan-Hare and see the best student section in the SEC rocking and rolling.
Oh, yeah.
They may handle it just fine.
Sure.
But I want them to see that because week in and week out, going to Baylor and Kansas and Iowa State and some others, they're not seeing that.
No, you're absolutely right. And so that's definitely going to be a big game. And I'm curious about Oklahoma because I thought, Oklahoma had a really good season last year. And, come into the SEC this year, it's not going to be easy, but it feels like for good reason Texas is getting a ton of talk, but it doesn't feel like Oklahoma is getting any. It's almost
they're
like
second on the billing.
Yeah, absolutely. But it feels like they're second on the billing way down at the bottom.
In small print.
In very small print. And so, no, I'm really excited to see them this year, and that was a great take about that game against Auburn. But we need to grab a quick break. When we come back, whole lot of baseball to talk about, some good games last night, a good slate of games tonight as well. We'll do all of that and more next on Sports Time.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Chris Price here for Brian L.
across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
If you own a business, you know Luttrell Belting keeps you moving. Luttrell has cost-effective belts, conveyor components, and 24/7 on-site service to keep you operating smoothly. Text are just a phone call away at 800-441-8946 or online at LuttrellBelting.com. Luttrell's Memphis plant stocks belting in nearly every size and finish, and if they don't have it, they'll make it. From ordering to selection, fabrication, and installation, your Luttrell sales rep is there for you. Luttrell Belting keeps you moving.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa set. It's happening right now. You can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs that are ready to be delivered. Family Leisure has spas that start at just $28.99. You know those cold plunges? You can get one for yourself starting at $39.99. Or how about swim spas? They start at $17,499. Plus, Family Leisure has set up special financing just for this event. Have you been sitting on the fence about an above-ground pool? Get off that fence and get to Family Leisure to take advantage of huge discounts on all their in-stock above-ground pools. And if you need some patio furniture, it's all priced to move out now. It's not too late to have some summer fun, courtesy of Family Leisure. But you better hurry up. The world's biggest spa set might go on forever. Family Leisure. With and run at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's cranking up over here pretty good now through the Midtown area as we check it out live again on 240 going southbound at South Parkway. Traffic's on the increase even more in the last 15-20 minutes. I-40 West here at Danny Thomas, working your way back across the Hernando de Soto Bridge over into West Memphis. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in Memphis. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, Major League Baseball, a lot going on right now. All the storylines we've had all year long, and now we're kind of making it to that home stretch of the season, trying to figure out who are the teams that are going to separate themselves from the pack and make it into the playoffs. But I think it's time for another round of applause for the Chicago White Sox.
Upset of the year.
Honestly, upset of the year. 12-2 victory over the Yankees. 18-9 in terms of hits. Just honestly crazy. I'll be honest, Brett. I watch more White Sox games than most people. Obviously, my brother is a White Sox fan. He usually has them on. A lot of times I'll
That's
just
a special place in baseball heaven right there.
It absolutely is. So last night, I'm not watching the game. I'm eating dinner, and Connor comes in, and my dad goes, "How are the White Sox doing?" He goes, "Oh, they already lost it. They gave up a run in the first inning. It's over."
It's over.
So I don't think another thing about it. And later that night, I have a fantasy draft to do. And so I get my computer, I'm doing my fantasy draft. I pull up Big Inning on my television just, to have it on in the background so I can keep an eye on these games. And the host of the show, he goes, "Well, let's take you back out to Chicago where the White Sox now up 12-2 on the Yankees."
Couldn't believe it.
And I had to stop and pinch myself to make sure this wasn't a dream.
When is the last time they had 12? Now, they had the one big explosion last week, but in a loss.
Yeah.
Had to be the most runs in a win this year with only 29 others.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not a long list.
When I say upset of the year, I'm not trying to put it up there with U.S. Olympic team over the Soviet Union in 1980. I'm not up there doing that at all, or 16 over a 1 in the NCAA tournament, and maybe even Oakland over Kentucky, as I asked earlier.
That's right.
That's the closest thing to it this year.
Mm-hmm. Trying to see in terms of runs scored.
There are weeks they don't score 12 in a week.
Yeah, Brett, I'm looking
playing
at
6 games.
It's a lot of 1s and 2s and 3s. A lot of 3s. They score 3 a lot. If you can get them over like 2.5, that might be the sweet spot. I've seen an 8. It seems like 8 is the high. Here's a 9, so we're at 9. Yeah, certainly not a 12 in there. 11. They won 11-3 over the Colorado Rockies on June 29th.
It's a long time ago.
It's a long time ago. Southside basketball jersey giveaway. How about that? What a night. Did we have a giveaway last night? It had to have been a good. There were not a lot of people.
The giveaway last night was tickets and
a pre-game.
2 bratwursts and 2 beers.
Well, yeah. Let's see.
What did it draw last night?
Southside Monday last night. What do you think you get? Oh, wow. Grateful Dead tribute night last night. Wow. How about that? A special night.
22-8-15.
It's not bad.
Not bad at all.
It did not look that good on television when I was watching.
I want to see a scan count. I'll just say.
I think so, too. Because when I was watching, I was like, man, too bad it's not a bigger crowd for this type of win.
For the Yankees on a Monday night, got to Gill early and got to the rest of them often.
How about this for a early big number for you? I don't even know if this would be considered a big number because there's not really a number around it unless you just use the number 1. That is the first win the White Sox have gotten on a Monday this year.
It's rough. Well, when you only have 30.
Well, they've won on every other day. Every team in Major League Baseball has won on every day of the week this season. The only team to not do that was the White Sox. They were missing Monday. They got to it last night.
That win keeps and both teams really playing out the string. Sure. The Yankees are playing it out to get ready for the postseason,
Correct.
Fall baseball. The Yankees, so familiar with that. They're 70-50 and second place in the American League East. Mm-hmm. The loss got the White Sox to 29-91. Couldn't gain on the Tigers as they won 41.5 out of the Central League.
Still time, Brett.
41.5, 62 under 500. And Grady Sizemore, the happiest man in Chicago.
I mean, how could you not be after that last night? Some other really good games on ESPN got a really good one. Rangers and Red Sox. Red Sox go up early, and then Rangers come back, tie it. We go to extra innings. Red Sox get bases loaded.
See the hero?
And I watched it, but I can't remember who the hero was now.
Wagner's kid.
Oh, that's right.
Billy
Yes.
Wagner's son.
That's right. I did see that. Yeah, so that was a really fun game on ESPN. They got the good one. We already mentioned it earlier. Cardinals and Reds was not fun to watch. That one got turned off. I'll be honest. After the 5th inning, I turned it off. I said,
right now in the American League, the 3 seed, I say red hot Astros.
Playing
6
well.
straight, really in a good stretch. 7 of the last 10. Joe Espada finally kind of getting his voice in that clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
They missed Dusty Baker early in the year.
Of course.
A lot of,
and I think we knew that was
change.
coming.
They would be the 3 against the 6, Kansas City. That's a good 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
That would be in Houston.
Really good.
The 4 versus the 5, the Twins' worst nightmare, having to play the Yankees, and then the winner would be the 4 against the 1, assuming it'd be New York against Cleveland, and the 2 against 3, Baltimore hosting Houston. In the National League, you have a lot of teams that I think are still in it. I don't think it's the Cardinals. I think the Giants are more in it than the Cardinals.
Yeah, which is could sound weird because they're both 2.5 games out of the wild card, but it just feels like the Giants are heading in a better direction than the Cardinals are.
A wrong stretch for the Cardinals. They easily could finish last in the Central for the second year in a row.
Crazy. Yeah.
They won't finish last in the National League. Miami and Colorado have enough distance behind them. But right now in the National League, it would be the 3 Milwaukee hosting the 6 Atlanta. I don't think Atlanta will hang on.
Either.
4 versus the 5 Arizona against San Diego. That's a really good team getting knocked out in the best 2 out of 3.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, both those teams have kind of turned it on recently and are playing good baseball.
My not top story. I talked about Shohei. Darian, jump in if you'd like. They had to sign him, didn't they? They would be a much different team without him.
He's carried them.
He's carried them.
He definitely has.
And had to.
Yeah.
Not only has he done it, he's had to.
No, you're absolutely right. And I'm actually, I got to double check this, fellas, because I'm kind of mad at myself. And this is gaming, Brett. Last night, I mentioned I had my fantasy football draft. I had a parlay going, and I'm trying to find it now. Wow. I had a parlay going last night. Diamondbacks money line, Padres money line. Padres at the time, it was tied 0-0. At the time, the Rockies were up 3-1. My fantasy draft was starting. I said, I cannot focus on 2 things at the same time.
You bought out.
This is going to lose. The Rockies are going to beat them. I cannot have this pulling me down while I'm trying to build my team in fantasy football.
You overthought it.
Cashed out. They both won. I'm just noticing it now because right when the draft was over,
right.
I went to sleep. I went to bed. I was tired.
Well, it was a white knuckler.
I mean, holy
He did have
cow.
a lot going on.
It was
Who was
a lot
your number
going
1
on.
draft pick in your draft?
So interesting enough, and I don't know if you've ever been a part of this. This is a keepers league.
Never been a part of it.
So
never been part of a defensive league or a keeper
Yeah,
league.
I've never. This is the first time doing anything like it. So we get to keep 2 players from our
My
team
first
from
year in
last
fantasy
year.
football was 1985. The league in Far City's been going since 84.
Really? Wow, that's incredible. So yeah, so I kept Garrett Wilson was my first keeper.
I've been out for a while.
Yeah, I didn't play fantasy football last year. Garrett Wilson was my first keeper. My second keeper, can't remember now. First pick was Bijan Robinson. He was available, and so we took him.
Okay.
So
if it hits, it hits.
It hits. It hits.
That's what I was saying about that
You
one.
gotta
If it
think,
hits, it hits.
12 teams, 2 apiece. A lot of guys gone. I mean, he was, I think, second
Where
best
were you
on the list.
picking?
I had the second pick in the first round.
And you took Bijan?
He was one of the best available. I mean, you got to think about it. Every team, so that's 12 teams, 2 apiece. I mean, that's the top 24 gone immediately.
Now, is this a money league, a funzy league?
This is
a party league?
So for me, what it is it's my brother and his group of friends, and one of them dropped out.
And they cut you in.
So they add me in. So I have nothing. They, loser, gets a punishment. And so...
So you're Tyrese Halliburton of the group.
Exactly. I
just
sit there, and if I come in dead last, they've already told me, if I come in dead last, just because if they make me do a punishment, they're not going to get any joy out of that because I'm not in their friend group. But
I got out my last year was 07, and I started working for Ole Miss in 08, and the contract couldn't have any game of chance.
Certainly,
like
back then, yes.
A little different now, but I'm still adhering to that.
Yes, I don't.
I'm not going to lose a good job over being in the fantasy football league.
No, not at all. Going back to baseball real quick.
But I had fun with fantasy football through the years.
I like fantasy
and
football.
And I was always the bridesmaid. Always in the playoffs, sometimes in the finals, never won it.
I won my first year.
Oh, I've got a friend
First year I played, I thought I was the
league
king.
In Forest City. First started in 84 with like 10 teams, then went to 12 and stayed at 12 ever since. But it's quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. You must start a tight end and a kicker, all offensive.
I remember
I can do that.
Best and
it's
worst.
A money league and it's a party league. It was in the drinking days. It was so much more fun than going out New Year's Eve. It was my favorite night of the year.
That sounds
Lost
like
2 mufflers taking the turn at the courthouse 2 times.
Wow, how about that? You got to be careful. You got to be careful. My best and worst season in fantasy football together, one season. I can't remember. It was maybe Patrick Mahomes' first year as a starter, and I've been hearing good things. I was like, I'll just go out and give it a try.
A chance.
Took him and
young lad from Texas Tech.
Yeah, and I was working at Stony River, and it was me and a bunch of the servers there and our general manager. And the general manager said, whoever wins this league, I will buy a 12-pack of their favorite beer for them. You get it. I was 20 at the time, so he was like, I cannot do that for you. We will, and so like midway through the season, I'm undefeated. I'm like 7-0.
You're rolling.
And they're like, "What are we gonna do? Like, there's no way he can win this league." Everybody on my team gets injured. Literally every starter on my team, like season-ending injury.
How'd you finish?
I think I finished in like 5th or 6th. I mean, it was bad. After that.
You went. Dude,
literally
fast.
From first to like not even sniffing the playoffs.
There are some great fantasy football leagues out there. A lot of fun with it.
Definitely. No, I love fantasy football season, and it's a lot around it. I mean, it's
Brian,
everything.
Back in the day, you're trying to get scores and kind of how your point totals. I mean, I'm watching WGN's 9 o'clock news, try to get anything.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And be out there on Monday morning catching the newspaper from the delivery person.
Oh, my gosh.
And go into the scores and then have it all figured up and maybe either be ahead by 1 or down by 1, and you didn't catch the 2-point conversion somewhere.
Oh, no. Oh, I can't even.
And now all instantaneous on your phone.
Me, I got the Octabox on Red Zone watching every game with my phone in my hand, tracking all my players.
Be checking with teammates on Monday morning. I got us at 54. What do you have us at? Well, I've got 56. We got to get this right.
Good Lord.
And then the totals would come out.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it was great.
That's incredible.
I had so much fun with it.
Wow. Well, we need to get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on a shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding and a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call CraigGranger.com or just stop by. Granger, always you get it done.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 40, the White Sox. And this will be the last time I bring up the Chicago White Sox and what they did last night. The White Sox defeated the Yankees last night 12-2, despite having 42 fewer wins entering the matchup. The last Major League Baseball team to enter a game with at least 40 fewer wins than the opponent and win by 10 or more runs was the Blue Jays against the Yankees on September 10th, 1977, when the Blue Jays
that may have been expansion Blue Jays.
It might have been. They were 46-92 at the time against the New York Yankees, who were 87-54. They won that game 19-3.
I think that was expansion Blue Jays, and they were really bad.
Well, yeah.
Playing it outdoors at Old Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. I don't know where the game was played, but they were really bad. My big number is 15, as in 15 major winners in this FedEx St. Jude Championship field. Here they are. All time: Keegan Bradley, Wyndham Clark, Jason Day, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Brian Harmon last year winning the Open Championship, Shane Lowry, Hideki Matsuyama, Rory McIlroy, Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, Adam Scott, Jordan Spieth, and Justin Thomas. 15 majors in this field out of 70. Star-studded field.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, just everywhere you turn today, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so.
It's incredible, and you know, we've been talking about that, and really ever since this event became part of the playoffs, and you're guaranteed that those top 70 players. I mean, it is absolutely the best of the best. I saw today the FedEx St. Jude Championship Twitter page posted a picture of all three of the medal winners,
gold, silver, bronze,
and I was a little disappointed Scotty didn't bring his gold. But hey, I can't blame the guy. If I won a gold medal, I would probably not want to take that around places.
Feels like that's very much Scotty Scheffler.
Yes,
he could be the one in a few years. I won't say he doesn't know where it is, but it's just over there with the other trophies.
Sure.
Now, when he's 70, he'll look at it a lot differently.
Absolutely. But yes, it very much feels like he wins a tournament, he goes, okay, and then just goes out.
Put it over there with the other trophies.
Yes, it really is incredible. Kind of shows how great of a golfer he is. But you're absolutely right. No, it's going to be a lot of really good
Speaking of Scotty Scheffler, so
go.
today I go out to Southwind, and you know the whole until we get our credential getting in process.
Of course.
And then you go and get it. And I had nothing on, and I was kind of easing by, whereas by day, by normal times, it's the pro shop, gift shop area, and kind of in the basement area, you go down to the bag room, and there's a security guard, and I stopped before he stopped me, and I said, I'm going to get my credential. Am I okay to walk through? He said, sure. So I leave there, and I come back through, and one had changed. I had it on by this point, and nice man said, I asked him, I said, can I come through here? He goes, sure, you got on the right stuff.
Right.
I said, I didn't want to be a Scotty Scheffler.
I love that.
I don't want any trouble with anybody.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I'm definitely going to try to use that more in my vocabulary. A Scotty Scheffler. That is beautiful. That's great.
That instant, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. I mean,
he handled it as well as you can handle it.
He absolutely did.
Yeah, by going and winning.
Well, no, he didn't win at the PGA that weekend.
Oh, okay, that
He still.
Yeah, that was Xander, but he still had a good tournament.
He had a good tournament, and I think won the next week, right?
Yeah.
Or, so it feels like you can just throw a dart in any week this year, and yeah, you got a pretty good chance Scotty's won.
We said it earlier in the year. We'll talk a lot about this tomorrow with John Goen when we do our golf segment and picks. Early in the year, we all agreed, okay, now he's putting. Nobody else has a chance.
Right.
Then he hit a stretch where he quit putting, and it opened the door for Xander and other people. Now it looks like he's back putting.
Yeah, and now with, absolutely looked like he was putting at the Olympics, but, now with a week
on
off,
Sunday.
That's a great point. On Sunday. What will we see this weekend here in Memphis? Will we see the Scotty that's making putts or the Scotty that really last season,
if he putts, nobody has a chance?
Yes, because that was always the Scotty Scheffler, such a great player, but it's just when he gets to the green, there's really no guessing what's going to happen. And then, we've kind of seen a mixed bag this year. So that is definitely going to be interesting to see Thursday and into the weekend.
And that swing, that takeaway, I don't know many instructors that would teach that, but not exactly like Jim Furyk, and much better player than Matthew Wolff.
Sure.
And it's age-old in the instructor world. And Jack Nicklaus, I'm holding up, you can see it on the video. It's about, what is that, about 3 feet.
Sure.
Jack Nicklaus says that's all that matters in the swing.
That's
is
right.
when you get down to that go zone, and when he gets down there, it's as square and as pretty as anybody would ever teach. Now, all the other stuff, I wouldn't try that at home.
No. I mean, that's the thing is, like, if that was me that swung like that, sure, yeah, let's
I end up on my nose.
Let's work on some things. Let's fix this swing. But when it's Scotty Scheffler and he's doing what he's doing on the tour, okay, yeah, if that's how you swing, that's how it all comes together. By all means,
when he gets it down there where it's money time, it's perfect.
It absolutely is, and you're right. It is kind of interesting how it all comes together.
Jack Nicklaus once said, he said, I don't care if you do a pirouette in the back going back. It's down there where it matters.
Wow, interesting. I'm really excited about this week starting tomorrow. We'll be out there, and then into the weekend, it should be a whole lot of fun out at Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But we need to wrap up another hour number 2 in the books. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll start hour number 3 with Beau Marchant.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now to talk the NFL like he does every single Tuesday afternoon. Bo, we've got 1 week of the preseason down. Do you have any big takeaways? Anything that caught your eye watching all these games over the weekend?
I think just the overall, I know McCarthy's going to miss some time, but I thought the rookie quarterbacks that drew so much attention during the draft, I thought they all kind of had nice debuts. Williams and May, he didn't play a lot, but, Williams looked real well. McCarthy looked well. Penix looked great. Bo Nix looked fantastic. And, the whole collection of them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what I take away is, you had a lot of quarterbacks that came out day one in their debuts, and they played pretty solid football.
Yeah, and you had a lot of guys play at that position and other positions, all the positions, that won't play as much this week, will play even less in the third game, and they won't make the team.
You're exactly right. Yeah, and this week, they usually used to be game 3. Now usually game 2. We might see a lot of the guys get more work, but nonetheless, you guys know me. I love preseason football. I still think it's a great, time for these guys to kind of show up and show out and make their last case to get that 53-man roster or sneak yourself onto a practice squad and kind of bounce around until maybe you can kind of get a grip on it and carve yourself out a career. So it happens to a lot of guys every year. This year will be no different. Finding out who those guys will be, that's a whole nother apple cart to find out. But nonetheless, I think the quarterbacks were great. And that's a good. You guys know it's a good sign. Last year, I thought quarterback play was horrendous, and getting some young, talented arms only makes viewing the game that we love that much better.
Feels like Bo Nix has kind of gotten with the best type coach for him.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking. We talk about quarterback guru. Sean Payton's definitely one of those type of individuals where he's going to have a pulse on developing Bo Nix. Like no other. And you even saw, Zach Wilson had a nice debut for the Broncos as well. And you got to believe it's probably the first time, but Zach Wilson's had this type of tutelage, since he's arrived in the NFL. So, Bo Nix, it just seemed like that was a perfect fit in terms of how Sean Payton wants his offense run and what Bo Nix will be able to do best. So he played well, but Zach Wilson played well too. Not that Wilson's going to unseat him, but I think if you're a Broncos fan to have two quarterbacks, throw in the 70% completion rating, I think Wilson was like 76.9, something crazy, and and Bo Nix was in the 70s. Both 100-yard passer ratings on that preseason debut. So the offense, the Broncos played very good football down the stretch. They started out pretty dismal, but the second half of the season they were one of the up and coming better teams to challenge. And who knows how the AFC would go? Last year, and I would have supported the idea that the Chargers were one of the top teams, possibly unseat the Chiefs in the AFC West, and things unfolded a different way. So who's to say that the Broncos take maybe a little bit more of a step and challenge for a wild card spot?
Yeah. The big talk today has been the injury to J.J. McCarthy after the game. We heard the reports that he came off saying that his knee was sore, he didn't feel right in his knee, got an MRI, and now we know that he'll have to have knee surgery for that meniscus injury. What does this mean now for the Vikings? Because it feels like there was somewhat of a quarterback competition going on. They signed Sam Darnold in the offseason. What do you make of this injury, and what does this mean for the Vikings going into the season?
Well, they're going to stick with Sam Darnold, and it's just going to prolong the opportunity for J.J. McCarthy to take the reins, and hopefully Kevin O'Donnell and those guys can develop into the guy that they wanted in the first round. So it's just a delay process, and the Vikings getting to where they need to be in terms of getting the guy under center that they want under center long term. So that's it. And I was talking about these rookie debuts when I was going through their numbers over the weekend. Caleb Williams, 13.6 yards per completion. He led all the rookies, and then behind him was McCarthy at 11, and the others all 6.5, 6'2", 6'5". So they were really, both those two, and McCarthy included, and with Williams, they were really pushing the ball. These weren't just little dump-off gimme passes. They were kind of really getting back there and kind of pushing it. And we're not saying, hey, 11 yards, 13 yards, but, for a young guy stepping in, seeing a defense different than practice and all that stuff, it goes a long way. But nonetheless, it just stinks because, especially when they're doing well, if they're doing bad, it doesn't help the situation. But if you see them doing well and you know that they're grasping what you're doing and they're going to be able to execute at a high level, it just really sets you back mentally, I think, as an organization, knowing that you got to, press pause, hope Sam Darnold maybe can keep the thing from sinking, and maybe when McCarthy gets back, you get a jolt, of life in there, and you kind of maybe have some success. But nonetheless, it's a debacle for the Vikings, and it's just a setback for them and McCarthy as well.
I was watching the Packers and the Browns, and Packers won easily. The score didn't matter, but I was thinking both of these teams, one in the NFC, one in the AFC, will be around maybe conference championship weekend or beyond.
It's possible. I want to rule it out, Brett. I really want it. I think each team's capable of doing it. The Packers have already shown that, they took the 49ers to task last season in the playoffs. They upset the Cowboys at home. Two really good road games that team played. And you kind of say they gave away the game to the 49ers. A better team, but one again, they squandered an almost possible victory that I don't think really anyone would have gave them credit to. And on the flip side, you have Cleveland, Stefanski. This is the big thing for him is you got to get hot because they missed so many guys last year. I think expectations are going to be a little bit higher than normal in Cleveland.
Do you like the roster?
I do like the roster, Brett. I think the roster's there, and all the injuries they had last year. I'm still not done with Watson, and I know I should be. I just think that, I think he's 8-4 as a starter.
Yeah, it's proven time for him.
Yeah, this is make or break for Deshaun Watson without a doubt, and he doesn't get an excuse or a pass if he's injured. That's part of it. If you're hurt or you're not playing well, that's all thrown into the recipe of you not succeeding in Cleveland. But it is. It's time, but nonetheless, Chubb. How when is he going to come back? How good is he? They can still run the football with anybody, but Chubb is a difference maker. So, but they caught a lot of magic in the bottle, as I like to say, last year with Flacco and Chubb going down, linemen going down, and they were able to, get into the playoffs. So I think that's going to be a tall order, but I think it could be duplicated because I do think it's a good football team. And Stefanski, I think he got Coach of the Year last year. So they have a Coach of the Year candidate from last year, and, if they succeed, then good for Cleveland. But if I'm going to have to bet now, I'm not going to say I think the Packers could do it. I really because I think I'd just be piggybacking off what they did last year. But I think both those teams at the end of this year are going to be very, very close. I don't know if they make the playoffs or how deep they go, but I just think these are going to be two teams that, those games where, a last-second field goal's missed or a bad call could catch you. I think these are two teams that are going to kind of fall under that umbrella where you need more to go right than just other teams playing better.
In that game, did y'all catch Michael Pratt, the rookie from Tulane's play, backing up Love in Green Bay? And I never like to see a guy, never wanted anybody to be hurt, but thank you, Michael Pratt, for not playing in the Ole Miss game last year.
Oh, man.
That would have been a different game down in New Orleans.
Sure
Ole Miss almost lost that one with the backup. I think he finds a place somewhere in this league to help somebody. Might not be with the Packers. He's not knocking off Jordan Love.
Yeah, no, he looked good in the All-Star game. Listen, you're not going to knock that guy out, but nonetheless, you just want to establish yourself. And when we could go back to Trent Green and Kurt Warner, you never expected to start until something happens, and Devin Hodges, the Duck. I mean, to think that Ben Roethlisberger and all those guys are in Pittsburgh, and this guy, undrafted, who is getting starts. So you never know.
Rob Fisher was in the post-game press conference with Dick Vermeil, and I love Dick Vermeil, but he can cry at a sunset. And he's in tears over losing Trent Green. Nobody ever dreaming this story is going to unfold with Kurt Warner. And I saw Kurt Warner in arena football.
Right. And, and that's the other thing. And I always give Russell Wilson, when he got drafted by the Seahawks and they signed Matt Flynn, it's a story everybody knows. But for the Seahawks and Carroll and those guys, Schneider, the GM, to say, hey, you know what, Russell is playing the best out of all these guys.
We're playing.
Don't worry about the free agent. We're playing them.
Heck with the money. Eat it.
And that's what it is. You can't be doing your job if you're seeing this guy in camp and you're talking a provincial Hall of Fame guy is sitting there. And, and it goes back to Belichick. I mean, Belichick wanted Brady to be the guy, but they just signed Drew Bledsoe to the largest contract at the time by any player in the league. So, he had his troubles with Kosar in Cleveland, so he couldn't go back to the drawing board on that one. But if you read about it and go into depth, Belichick wanted that, and Belichick is one of those guys. So he's not going to worry about your round or who you are or what you do. Are you going to help the best play? And that's what it comes down to. But I think a lot of organizations, you look at draft pedigree, how much the salary is for these guys and how much they're getting paid per week, and that they get a little bit longer leash than some of the guys that might actually be out working them.
I'll give you one, and I don't think it was all pedigree and all draft, but Kurt Warner thought he still had a lot in the tank, and it proved that he did. It was just with the Arizona Cardinals. He really thought he should have been playing ahead of Eli in New York.
Oh, wow.
That's a great point. You saw what, he leaves there and he goes to Arizona.
Ends well for both of them, and it did.
It does, but it again. But and I think you're at a crossroads in an organization. And I think this is where the say New York media, you're the Giants. Kurt Warner had his ups and downs there. He wasn't playing at elite level. You have an opportunity to take a Manning. Peyton's already dominating at the time. You have Archie, who everybody loves. You got to go after that pick. You just can't bypass. It's kind of like a Caleb Williams thing with the Bears. Even if the Bears love Justin Fields, even if they said, "Hey, we really internally want to stick with this guy," you can't and pass up the likes of a Caleb Williams. You just have to move on as an organizational, because if you don't, one, they're going to clean house, but nonetheless, it's just a long-term thing where you're just always going to hear about it on talk radio. People are going to write about it, and it's going to be a thorn in the side of an organization for a long time. So that part I give, but when these guys get on the field, we do see a little bit of, mixed hearts on who should be starting, I think.
Yeah. Talking to Bo Marchant, he joins us every single week to talk the NFL. I was watching the Bills and the Bears game Saturday afternoon, and it was a Bills local broadcast with it being a home game for them. And they were talking about it, and Brett and I talked about it a little bit last week. This was the first time week one preseason in the last 5 years that Josh Allen has played in week one of the preseason, which I thought was kind of odd going into the weekend. And they started talking about it and said that this was Josh Allen's decision because of how much new it is at the receiver position. When you look at this Bills team, it feels like the past couple of years, they've been a team that, okay, this could be the year they get there. This could be the year that they go deep in the playoffs. How do you view this Bills offense going into 2024?
As long as Allen stays upright and healthy, they're going to be in it. And we know there's a lot of receiver turnover, but Stephon Diggs wasn't the guy that they brought in a couple of years ago. And the antics, and I kind of like a Terrell Owens. Yeah, he did. He talked his way, and there's a point where you're just tired of it. And the Bills got tired of it. But they drafted Coleman. He looks very well. Khalil Shakir, he was one of the most dominant little pieces, unsung heroes of that offense down the stretch, and I think he brings a lot to the table this year. And I don't know if I'd still allow Allen to go through it with just because it's preseason football and these guys get their work done. So that part, I think it's just, hey, they wanted to see these guys out there. But nonetheless, it's a new group. But I think as long as you got Allen doing his thing, and, Dawson Knox is fantastic. I think 91 catches last year. He's going to be a huge part. James Cooks can, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's dynamic.
And Dalton Kincaid, the other tight end.
Dalton Kincaid. You're talking two super talented tight ends. So it's different faces. But again, if you got Allen doing it, you should be all right. Now, if Allen's not the guy, and you got Mitchell Trubisky back there, it doesn't matter if you bring in Devontae Adams and CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk, you're going to have trouble.
Is it last dance for the Bills?
No, I don't think so. A lot could change. The defense, McDermott does a great job with the defense. They need to get a little bit, I think, hardier internal up front on the defensive side because they're a small, fast defense. But as long as Allen's there and you have the heroics of Burrow and Mahomes, and we've talked about it plenty on the show that, the Bills just happen to be in the window where Mahomes is the greatest we've seen, and you have this guy in Cincinnati who looks dominant, and you have some really talented quarterbacks, and they're right there. It's not that the Bills don't do it. The mixed field goal last year by the kicker. I mean, they are there. They have their shots, but I wouldn't write them off. Are they the favorites or the guys that we thought they were a couple years ago? No, they're not. But to write them off to see that they can't catch a little magic and have a quarterback of that caliber and a good defense, anything's possible.
Bo, have you had a chance to meet John Rice Plumlee, and do you think he can make the team as a return guy, as a special team guy?
John Rice Plumlee is like one of the funnest, coolest cats on the whole team.
One of the great young men ever, and his dad is fine people.
Yeah. I talked to him the other day. I've talked to him a couple times, but I actually after the preseason game the other night, I was talking to him. I said, okay, you know what? I'm tired of asking you how good you are at every single thing you do. I go, I want to know what Rice Plumlee stinks at. I go, what athletic thing
There's
do
not
you
anything.
stink
He's a
at?
scratch golfer. He and his dad can enter any tournament and win it.
Well, he said he said bowling. He goes, if you're going to get him on a down day, he said bowling is not his best attribute of all the athletic gifts that he had. So I thought that was funny. So
and what his freshman year at Ole Miss had some quarterback injuries, and his first college start, he had to go into the belly of the beast and start against Alabama, and he played great. He wasn't playing defense. I mean, and that's when Bama had Judy, Ruggs, Waddle, and who's the fourth one I'm forgetting? Devontae Smith.
Right, Devontae Smith.
I mean, it was like a 4x200 relay team.
Crazy.
Yeah, but Rice Plumlee is, he's doing, and they have him everywhere. They had him catching some passes the other day. He's, returning kickoffs, as we know, and then he's working with the quarterbacks as well. I think what the Steelers are doing right now is they're trying to find out how not to cut him. Because, they're going to keep three quarterbacks, and then where does he fit in? That's the conundrum that the Steelers have is you got your three quarterbacks, Allen, Fields, Russell, and then Plumlee, where's he going to fit into this? So, is he good enough as a kick return guy where, he gets a spot for that? But nonetheless, I think a practice squad guy for sure. And you know what? If you're an undrafted guy and you can be get the practice squad, I can tell you there's a lot of NFL guys that would sign up for that right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But I know we're about to get to our NFC East quarterbacks and coaches, so here's my time for my Dallas Cowboys question, and it has to do with all the noise around this CeeDee Lamb situation. It feels like every day when I wake up, I see a headline of somebody trying to make a story out of what Jerry Jones says about the contract situation. Over the weekend, it was him saying that there's no urgency to getting a contract done, which I think was taken a little bit out of context. But hey, that's just me. What do you make of this situation as we continue to go through the offseason and get closer to the regular season?
Well, I read Micah Parsons said today that he talked with CD and he expected it to be done soon. So who knows how much intel he has there and how negotiations are going. We see this play out every year. And I think, the 8th is when the season starts. Mm-hmm. That's the 0 hour. And like all negotiations, no matter what business they're doing, usually one side likes to procrastinate and the other likes to. until the deadline comes, and they're like, all right, let's iron this out, and then they're going to have a podium press conference where this is what I wanted, we're happy, and you're happy. So, and as a Cowboys fan, I think that's what you want, to get him in, and you got to get him in there. I mean, you just can't run that offense the way that they want to run that offense without CeeDee Lamb. So, but not with that said, expect them to get there, man.
Unbelievably, our final quarterback and coaches rankings of all these these 8 divisions. Next week we do AFC predictions. We put a team in Super Bowl 59 next weekend. Or next Tuesday, rather, and then we'll do NFC predictions on August 27th, and then we'll be into game week and talking games and stories and things like that. Bo, you lead us off in Bryant's division in the NFC East.
All right. Are we doing coaches or QBs first?
Wherever you want to go.
All right, I'm going to do QBs. I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott 1. And then coaches, I'm going to go McCarthy, Brian Daboll, Nick Sirianni, and Dan Quinn. Those are my coaches.
Go through those quarterbacks again, 1 through 4. It kind of went over my head. Go through 1 through 4.
I'm going Dak 1, Hurts 2, Daniel Jones 3, and then Washington Commanders 4.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
All right, and the coaches again?
I'm going to go McCarthy 1, Brian Daboll. Listen, I think Brian Daboll, just to get anything at Magic, 9-7 2 years ago, 6-11 last year. Sirianni was 10-1, went to 11-6. He got issues with the QB. I can't push him up the podium, and he has the most talent out of that division. So I'm going to put him 3, and then Dan Quinn. Again, I think he gets a pass for all the ills of the Dallas Cowboys last year. You go look at their losses. There was always a boatload of points on that scoreboard, and that's not McCarthy's job. That's Dan Quinn's. But he gets a pass, and he's the love child, and he's off to Washington to do his thing. So,
all right, Brian, you're in your division.
I love this. How could I not have Dak Prescott at number 1 with the NFC East quarterbacks?
Y'all really both went Dak 1.
Of course, Brett. Until he is no longer the Dallas Cowboys quarterback.
Super Bowl. Darren, do you remember it? I hadn't Hurts played in
but hey, by process of elimination, sometimes.
As long as he is the quarterback of America's team, he will be the number 1 quarterback in this division. He's number 1. Jalen Hurts, number 2. Give me the rookie, Jaden Daniels. I'm buying in after what I saw in the first preseason game. And then 4th, I will go Daniel Jones. For my coaches, that's right, Mike McCarthy, number 1, Brian Daboll, number 2, Dan Quinn, 3, and Nick Sirianni. Please,
wow.
You make it to the Super Bowl. The following year, people are asking if you're going to keep a job. Get out of the division. You're last.
No homer dog.
Wow.
Not at all. I also hate the Eagles.
Yeah, boy. Not any fandom whatsoever came through.
Objective journalist, Brett.
Yeah, no, Big J.
Brett, Jason Garrett could come back tomorrow to play quarterback. He'd still listen.
I love Jason Garrett. I mean, what are we talking about?
I've my quarterbacks in the East. I've got Jalen Hurts 1, narrowly over Dak Prescott. I swear I almost did it. But I didn't. Hurts 1, Prescott 2. I have the rookie Jaden Daniels 3. I've seen enough of Daniel Jones. He's 4, and that's being charitable, only because we have to list 4. NFC East head coaches, I have Mike McCarthy 1.
How about that? Let's
Super
go.
Bowl
There you
winner,
go.
not with the Cowboys, but the 12 and 5s the last few years. Nick Sirianni 2. I went Dan Quinn 3 over Brian Daboll for this reason. In Brian Daboll's rest of his coaching life, he never is in a Super Bowl and leads 28-3. At least Dan Quinn did do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I mean, Dan Quinn was there in New England, right? I mean, they gave up the James White touchdown in overtime, right?
Yeah, he was with the Falcons, in the 28-3 lead.
So, yeah.
Brian Daboll never is a part of being up 28-3 in a Super Bowl.
But, I guess it goes back to Quinn, though. That's Quinn's defense doing that, and you have that lead, and you surrender it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I like Quinn. You know what it is? The McCarthy stuff, I just love how some coaches, some players just always the most criticized, and they're all, the Kirk Cousins, the McCarthys, and then you have other guys that, regardless of what the outcome is, it's just somehow they just kind of skate through and they go and, think of Vrabel. And like how talented he is, and he's not coaching right now.
Hard to believe.
Some of these guys still have jobs. It's crazy.
Bill Belichick's not coaching and wants to be.
I know. That's it. It's just and and that's where you're an organization, and we know that Bill needs power, but power
You give it to
he
him.
can handle. You give it to him because of his resume. You don't give the same power just hypothetically to Jared Mayo because he's a new coach and he's learning his way. But a guy like Belichick, if that's going to hurt your feelings that you're the owner or you're some of the people on staff and you're going to be intimidated, you know what? You should be intimidated because he knows more than everybody, and he's not afraid to say it.
A lot of these conferences,
yeah.
A lot of these conferences are backloaded with intra-division games late in the year. The Cowboys don't play Washington until Sunday, November 24th. After that game, first of all, will both Quinn and McCarthy both be there, Brian? What will the handshake be like?
I think it'll be good. They got to be cordial.
Boys,
this wasn't a he got his odds and he got the opportunity to take a head coaching job. It wasn't like that was a falling out or anything. That just he was respected and he got another shot at being a head coach. So I think there'll be a good vibe and even when he returns, I'm sure Quinn might get some boos, but I think the majority of the Dallas faithful appreciated having him there as their DC during this time because he definitely made them affordable unit.
They're the league guys. Big wheel keeps spinning around.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, it is. And again, at AFC next week, that's amazing. It's amazing to think that we're doing AFC. Just crazy.
You sure are.
But one more question I want to sneak in here before we let you go. Talking about Nick Sirianni, I mentioned it when kind of putting him down in fourth place. This is a guy that was just in the Super Bowl with the Eagles a couple years ago. Last year, they take a step back. There are people questioning him as the head coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. What does this season look like with that team? And does he, Brett just asked, do both those coaches still have a job by the week they meet? Nick Sirianni, what does this year look like for him?
Yeah, they got to turn it around. The way that they ended last season after playing so well early on, it's just not acceptable. And then they went to Tampa and, couldn't get out of their own way and lost to a lesser team in the wild card round. So Sirianni, there's a ton of pressure on him. I doubt there would be an in-season firing.
Right.
I think it'd have to be just disastrous for either one of those guys to be off the board by the time, the season ends. I'm talking horrific, 2-10, 0-7,
Sure.
just in disarray, where the quarterbacks publicly are unhappy. These things are going on. He's lost the locker room. Okay, we'll move on. But absent of that, Sirianni, I think he has the most talent out of any team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
So it's his division to lose. I just think, McCarthy, and I think they're better coached. So, and then Kellen Moore, a new OC for Jalen Hurts. How's that going to work? Will there be a little bit new wrinkles, and how easy will it be able to get everybody?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot going on. So, and I just think, you get CeeDee Lamb in there. Dak finished second in MVP voting last year. The offense was dynamic, and I just think with Micah Parsons, an elite defensive guy, and his name's escaping me, but the linebacker who tore his ACL last year, he looks very, very solid. He was having a great camp last year, so it's another added piece to the Cowboys. It kind of goes unnoticed, but it's going to be a great addition having the second-year guy being able to kind of impact that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. So. I'm definitely looking forward to the season.
DeMarvin Overshown.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I knew I had it in there.
It was close. It counts. We got it in.
You got it eventually. Bo, enjoy the week. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday.
Yep. Stay safe, gentlemen.
You got it.
Thanks, Bo.
Bo Marchant talking the NFL with us, and that's it for quarterback and coaches rankings.
Crazy.
Next week, AFC.
I honestly can't believe it.
NFC. Next week, we got a team in a Super Bowl.
It's insane.
To pick.
I mean, we're crowning an AFC champion next week. It's insane.
It really is. No matter what new Chevy or pre-owned car you're looking for, they have it at All-Star Chevrolet. I guarantee it. It's on the lot or in the showroom in Olive Branch right now, tomorrow, into the rest of the week, the weekend, and the rest of August. Down Highway 78, first exit into Mississippi. That's Kraft Goodman Road. You're there for All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale. Together, let's drive what we really want to drive, and that's something from All-Star. Come on down and pick out 2 or 3 or more to test drive. They'll let you. If you can't find it at All-Star, you can't find it anywhere. You can find 20 or 30 or 40 new Silverados marked down as much as 12% to save you thousands. Every Tahoe you could want for all these road trips and tailgating into summer event and the beginning of football season. Law enforcement and all first responders, healthcare workers, college students, college grads, teachers, military, extra $500 bonus cash instantly. The pre-owned Ram trucks, the Silverados, a 4Runner, an Audi, a Hyundai Palisade, a Bronco, and one sweet Corvette Stingray all on the lot. Best week to get the most money on any vehicle you want to sell. Bring it to All-Star in Olive Branch and get a big check today. Don't miss All-Star Chevy's end of summer sale going on right now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. For more information, go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, let's get to another break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Genesis Diamond's most extreme values on diamonds is coming to an end. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to get the price of a lifetime on a certified GIA certified diamond ring. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and the response has been incredible. People have driven for hours to buy like a dealer buys. All Genesis GIA certified diamond rings are on sale for a 20% discount off Genesis' already amazing everyday value price. I'm talking about values you never thought possible, from a half carat to 20 carat diamonds, all handpicked for maximum brilliance and all graded by the most prestigious gem lab in the world. Genesis has the largest GIA diamond selection you've ever seen. Rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, emerald cuts, princess cuts, everything you can think of. Now through Sunday, you can take advantage of this rare buying opportunity on the most gorgeous rings. Limit one per customer, please. Get the Genesis no middleman direct importer price, minus an extra 20% on all GIA diamond engagement rings. Now through Sunday, only at Genesis Diamonds on Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
Everyone loves home improvement. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51 makes it easy. A real hardware store run by 3 generations of a real hardware family where you can get it on. Whether it's repairs, remodeling, or new building, kitchens, bathrooms, tiles, tubs, vanities, sinks, mirrors, lighting, furniture, even door hardware. All the latest designs as well as timeless classics. And if outdoor fun is on your mind, they have the big green egg and accessories. South Haven Supply and Warehouse 51, 8560 Highway 51. Easy home improvement. Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
It's regular season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you as we got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We've talked a little bit of everything, and there's some really good things I want to get to during this segment. But before we do that, a reminder, we're going to be out at FedEx St. Jude Championship the rest of the week, tomorrow through Friday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be out at the Hub on 18, so come by. Brett, I'm sure you can remember last year, the AC definitely works in that building.
Sure did on Wednesday.
It 100% works. So, if it's hot out there, I know a couple days it's going to be warm out there. So, come cool down in the Hub, say hello to us. But tomorrow, the Pro-Am starts. I know that will be a lot of fun. See those guys out there kind of practicing, getting dialed in for the weekend. More laid back day of the tour. And we have been giving away a pair of tickets to the Pro-Am. We've got one more to give away, so we'll do exactly what we did earlier in the show. First caller to the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line, 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255, the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line. If you want to get out to the Pro-Am, a pair of tickets, give it a call right now, and Darian will get your information, and we will send you those tickets over for that Pro-Am tomorrow. But, Brett, a couple of things I wanted to get to during this segment, and I should have, if I'm being honest, Brett, I should have been more prepared for this segment and already had my visual pulled up for you, because I saw this video earlier. Former Memphis Tiger Precious Achiuwa spending his offseason doing some interesting things. This is Precious Achiuwa walking.
Be really careful.
2 lions by their tails in Zambia.
Okay. All fun and games until the lion goes lion.
Absolutely. I mean, I think I saw
that's not domesticated dogs.
No, and it's always what people always say is, you'll see this one person that has a pet tiger or a pet whatever, and they say at the end of the day, pet or not pet,
it's a tiger.
It is a wild animal, and you never know what happens.
Let me see that again. That's unbelievable.
Yes, that isn't.
I don't know that I would be holding their tail. I don't know that I would be near them.
I certainly would not be near them. So
something between me and them.
So here's the video of him walking. This is on Precious Achiuwa's Instagram. So if anybody wants to go see it, it's on Instagram.
That's real, right?
It's 100% real. This is a picture from his point of view behind the 2 lions.
And here's the last thing you ever saw of me in my life.
And then there's another picture of him with the 2 lions. No. And then him kind of hanging out next to the lions, saying what's up
Precious,
to
be
him.
really careful.
So yeah, Precious Achiuwa.
I don't know how this became a thing, but
really enjoying.
We're not talking about 2 golden labs.
No. I mean, we're talking.
I don't know that I'm going to be pulling on a golden lab's tail.
Certainly not. But
they might go golden lab on me. But I know a damn lion can.
They might. Yeah, they absolutely could. So I saw that earlier. I saw that about the start of the showdown. I've been holding it in my back pocket to bring.
As I've told you all my life, I've never had any daredevil in me.
No, me neither.
I don't know how I'm going to go, but it's not going to be jumping out of anything, trying to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel, or holding a lion's tail in Zambia.
Nope. I'll pass.
It's not. I'm not going. I'm in a plane with a buddy of mine. He goes, "You take over the stick." No. None of
Those are all things John Harding would do.
Correct. Yes, you're describing the life of John Harding. No, I'll go to the zoo and see a lion behind the. Hello, hey.
Want plenty of buffer there.
Yes.
I don't want to go and antagonize the hippopotamus.
No. There you go.
Plural of hippopotamus is hippopotamus.
That's correct. I want one for Christmas.
Yeah.
I saw another kind of breaking news.
I just don't. I don't have any adventure in me.
I don't either.
I mean, it's just very. Whether it's diet.
Yep.
Anything. I'm gonna keep it way between the lines.
Absolutely, 100%.
Especially at 62.
Well, yes.
Too much can go really wrong.
You're absolutely right. Especially if lions come into play, then something definitely could go wrong.
I wonder how that became even an idea that I want to go do that for Precious.
I don't know. I know he has I don't know.
They're beautiful animals.
Sure. I know he.
I don't see how I'm getting in real trouble here. Because I know things.
Sure.
Even there, I know they need to be hunted.
Sure.
I could not. There's no way I could what I call a Noah's Ark animal.
Right.
There's no way I could shoot one.
Yeah.
Now I could in self-defense, but
sure.
I'm not going to get in that spot because I'm not adventuresome.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I mean, my dad's always kind of told me his mindset of hunting is if it's not something you can eat or you're gonna eat, then
if you kill it, you gotta eat it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no why are you hunting it? But I don't know.
And I want people to hunt.
Sure. I love hunting.
I think in our area, it's one of the biggest industries.
Oh, for sure.
The great outdoors.
Yeah. See, I don't hunt, but I have a lot of friends that hunt.
I want them to be able to.
Yeah, and they love it. I love seeing pictures and stuff from them of their hunting adventures. But yeah, I don't know. I believe he still has some family in Africa, and so It's down there in the off season, and I'm sure this is like a thing that you can do where you can go and walk lions. I don't.
It's all these people that go to these nature reserves and want to pet the buffalo until the buffalo goes buffalo and rams the car.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm sitting there, feeding it, stuff from McDonald's.
Have you ever done that before?
No.
Where you go and feed them? They have the place up, but it's like
I had a cousin that went where they let the window down and the giraffe sticks his head in the car.
And then it goes giraffe.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brett. No,
it's like
sir.
right outside of Jackson, and you drive through it.
It's the greatest hardwood ever. Gabe Kuhn and I, the saddest day for either one of us, we can bring it up. Y'all just get John Harden started on the llama story.
Oh, no. I can't wait.
And a woman that was trapped by a llama.
Oh, geez.
And how she extricated herself from being under the llama.
Oh.
It's the greatest hardwood
Interesting. Huh. Okay.
The Hardwood podcast, probably.
That's right.
It's on the air.
Oh, it's TV friendly. Oh, radio. Okay,
Hardwood
great.
after dark.
But the llama went llama, and then the woman had to go how to get the llama out of my face.
Wow. I did the I forget, Safari Park or whatever they call it. I've been once. Had the bulls and had the animals right here in your face.
What'd you feed?
They have whatever those animals eat. I guess they give you can buy a bucket of it.
Yes, a bucket of feed. Well, I don't know what it is.
But the most adventurous thing I ever did is we went over and we dug for diamonds over at the Diamond Crater.
And those
over in Arkansas, right?
In Murfreesboro.
Oh.
Those
in Arkansas, yeah.
Animals know what to do. I mean, they are coming up to your car and they know, and right when that window goes
they go
down,
animal.
They're in there and they're getting that food.
But
it's
key
crazy.
word here is animal.
Oh yeah, no.
And you're right, Brett. Most of those videos end up with the feed all over the people, and they freak out. So you're correct.
Never the same.
You're correct. So
Man,
why even do
I get
it?
nervous watching cat videos on Twitter.
Yes.
It could go wrong.
Yes, it definitely could.
We dug all day at that darn diamond mine. All we did was get good and muddy. Didn't find anything. The biggest one ever found. And it's finders keepers.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
There was one. There was a pretty big one found this year.
But I think the biggest one ever was a guy with zero experience, tourist, stopped, and this time, about June or July, this time of year, the big blow-up summertime thunderstorm blows in. It rains 1.5 inches in 45 minutes, and then immediately the humidity goes real sky high, and he goes back inside the lodge, and the lodge is very nice now, and he's sitting there eating, having Coca-Cola or something, and sees outside about an inch.
Holy
something
cow.
Glistening.
Holy cow.
Goes out there and digs around. It's like a 14-carat diamond.
Holy cow. Guy's lucky day.
All we did was get muddy.
Wow. That is incredible. I mean, he's just sitting there enjoying a soda.
Finders keepers. And
That's crazy.
And the humidity, caused kind of everything to rise. And the rain washed up the
Holy
big
cow.
one.
That's incredible.
What a story.
Wow, that is a story.
Got these by Mega Millions tickets.
Yeah, on the way home. I mean, after that.
It was a long time ago.
Oh, I'm sure.
It might have been something bigger since then.
Sure. Last thing I wanted to get to during this segment, I saw this about 30 minutes ago. They just had the breaking news on ESPN about it. Aaron Boone told reporters that Jazz Chisholm Jr. is likely heading to the IL with a UCL injury. It is currently unknown if he will need surgery or not.
How did he get hurt?
I think
was
it was
on the slide?
I think so. It was something last night. They showed a video of him in the locker room kind of trying to flex his elbow, and you could tell it was certainly not.
All right, he was stealing third, and it was a high chopper in the kind of the 5.5 hole, and he just kept going and rounded all the way, but I didn't think anything got hurt.
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
But how he extended when he slid, I thought that looked goofy.
It could have been that, but
I don't know that was it.
They just showed a video of him in the locker room kind of flexing his elbow and doing that number.
Right, you know my feelings on sliding head first.
Oh,
and
well.
Does anybody slide spikes up?
No.
Nobody. Nobody's that way.
No.
Lou Brock was the best pop-up slide guy ever.
Yeah. Oh, Trey Turner. That's who does it. Yeah.
He still goes in.
And he's great.
Switchblades
at
up.
Yeah, he's great at popping up off of it. Now I'm sure he does a lot with the head first. 'Cause I do think he wears a mitt. Now that I'm thinking about it, but there are great clips of him sliding into home and then just popping
in a clubhouse. Are there several mitts?
Oh yeah, everybody's
got their own cooking mitt. Okay.
Oh yeah, and you know how it is now. It's all got their name on it and number and flashy colors, whatever they want to do.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think like Julio has one. Julio Rodriguez, I think his sliding mitt has like a floral.
Is there a
design on
size limit to the cooking mitt?
I hope not. I mean, some guys they got big hands. I mean,
reach way out there and just.
That's true.
Be touching second.
Get some extra length on there. That's,
I didn't know if there was size regulations with the cooking mitts.
No, I don't know. They didn't have the cooking mitts when I played baseball growing up. It's been a new thing.
We sure didn't either. We barely had batting gloves.
Well, hey, at least you had them, I guess. You need them out there.
Yeah,
it's rough out here, but no. So that could be a big loss for the Yankees. A guy that they got
got him
trade deadline. He's been super productive. Has been great,
very productive
since they've gotten him in the trade deadline. So that could definitely hurt.
I'm not playing for anybody's job. I'm not. Dave Roberts and Aaron Boone.
Oh yeah.
I don't think an early exit will go over well.
Certainly don't want that.
Respective ownership.
No, I mean I don't.
Darren, you sweating that? Were you Dodgers?
Not really. No.
I don't think.
You don't think that he goes out in the first, or if he does, he doesn't get relieved?
If he does, he doesn't get relieved.
Okay.
No.
You're definitely sleeping better if you get through that first round.
Yeah,
sure.
you're definitely sleeping better. Who's not? Yeah.
Well, but no.
And you better. I mean, you better.
yeah, you better sleep better if you're still in the playoffs. But no, I think, up in New York, it could, definitely be some changes. I think in LA, I think you're pretty good. But yeah, I think it could be some uncomfortable nights tossing and turning if you get knocked out in the first round if you're Dave Roberts.
A lot of those organizational meetings for the rest of the month of October, you're going to be sweating.
Oh, absolutely. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call getgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
You hear more and more about identity theft in the news every day. That's because so much of your personal info's out of your control, like your insurance provider that has your social security number and your favorite retailer that has your payment details. If they get breached, information, yours is vulnerable. That's where there's LifeLock. They monitor hundreds of millions of data points every second to identify threats. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock U.S.-based restoration specialist will solve identity theft issues on your behalf. Guaranteed or money back. Plus, all LifeLock plans are backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You might not be able to control how others handle your personal info, but you can help protect it. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com with a promo code HERD. Promo code HERD at LifeLock.com to save up to 40%. Terms apply.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe or visit us online at BrianMillerRoofing.com.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is it was another good day for the University of Memphis and their athletic department. This time, the good news, well, yesterday the good news came for women's softball. They hired a softball coach. That was kind of one of the big questions coming in with Ed Scott is who he was going to hire for softball. But today, Michigan State transfer D.D. Hagman picked Memphis out of the transfer portal. She was a second-team All-Big Ten member last year at Michigan State, and we were watching earlier on ESPN, and they had it at the bottom ticker and said on ESPN's women's basketball transfer portal rankings, she was the number 25th player on that list. So definitely,
yeah, she was going to Ole Miss.
Oh, she was. So she was already committed to Ole Miss, and
now
wow,
to Memphis.
Wow. So I didn't know that. So wow, that makes it even bigger because I was gonna say very clearly there were gonna be big teams after her, but yes, now I see it in the story that was at Ole Miss, committed to Ole Miss, and then decided that she wanted to jump to Memphis.
Coach Yo.
Definitely a big pickup for the Tigers. So I love that. I think the women's basketball team is going in the right direction, and being able to get pick up players like this only helps.
You want to be good in everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they play, if you keep score, be good at it. What I learned, upset of the year last night in sports for this year. White Sox not only win, but pound the Yankees. Maybe bigger than the old man Oakland team beating Big Mouth Cal in the NCAA tournament in his last game at Big Blue Nation. Last night, the White Sox went into the game losers of 24 out of 25. Hapless Chi Sox pound the Yankees 12-2. The Yankees minus 300 again tonight over Sox.
Yeah, no, nothing changes. White Sox get a win, but nothing changes in terms of the money lines. What I could have done without, it's what I woke up to. I had to question my existence, if I was still asleep or if I was actually awake. Will Levis unveils mayonnaise-inspired fragrance of cologne. How about
with
that?
With a hint of mayo and coffee.
Oh, boy. Between that precious video and mayonnaise cologne.
No,
it says with a hint of mayo and
this
coffee.
is part of
I
his
detest mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, this is part of his partnership with Hellman's Mayonnaise, and as we
I'm
know,
almost scared of mayonnaise. I am Lions.
Wow. How about that? We know how much Will Levis loves mayonnaise. He notably, like Darian alluded to, puts mayonnaise in his coffee. I usually go with milk, but whatever floats your boat, I guess.
I eat coffee.
Well, I enjoy
Maybe
coffee.
it's me.
It might be, but no, the mayonnaise is not you, Brad. I can assure you of that. But now, Hellman's put out the tweet this morning, a limited supply.
Maybe me, but that's a terrible idea.
Yes, definitely gross, but definitely funny to see that going around social media this morning.
Poor kids these days. I could have done without all that. Cardinals, but I also could have done that with the Cardinals with another poor effort last night versus the Reds. With a loss tonight, the Cardinals would be 60-60 with 42 to play. Get swept by the Reds. If they lost tonight and tomorrow, I'm calling it. Cardinals finished last in the division 2 years in a row. If that doesn't get everyone fired, then season ticket sales need to drop in half.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Where are you beaming tonight?
To Southwind for the rest of the week. Just get me out there at TPC Southwind for the rest of the week. Tomorrow we watch the best in the world in a relaxed atmosphere. Really want to see Ludwig Aubert in person, Scotty Scheffler, with him in town and the other medalists. That was a great photo today.
Yeah, it was a really, really cool photo, but top 70, it's going to be, no matter what group you're following, it's going to be good players in
Scotty's
it.
in the media room early tomorrow morning, too. I'm going to try to catch that.
Yeah.
Have your mayo and coffee ready.
You're
getting up that early,
I'll be walking lines before I'm having mayo in my coffee.
Wow, how about that? Let's see. Beam me tonight. Let's go. Brett, it's where you beamed yesterday. Dodgers and Brewers tonight should be a really, really fun game.
It was last night.
It was. And Dodgers come in 70-49, Brewers 67-51. I think a really good pitching matchup with Colin Ray for Milwaukee, Gavin Stone for the Dodgers. That should be a fun one later tonight. That is a 7 o'clock first pitch local time for us.
15 baseball games on the schedule today for the Bigs. So far, Eric Fetty's been pretty average for the Cardinals. He goes against Hunter Green tonight in Cincinnati. That game's already started. Red Hot Astros in St. Pete against the Tampa Bay Rays. And a 1973 World Series rematch with the A's against the Mets. The A's got them in 73. Braves and Giants will be good. The Braves trying to hang on. Just hang on for some spot over the last 40 games or so.
No, they definitely are, but it should be a fun night. A ton of baseball to keep an eye on. And, Brett, like you said, the rest of the week we'll be out at Southwind for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. If you're out there, stop by, say hello. We'd love to see you because it should be a really, really fun rest of the week and then into the weekend. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here.